Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome this time to the grave. Not what lies beyond it, but what used to lie in it. Safe in the peace of death. Unless the resurrectionists were abroad. Do you know what a resurrectionist is, or was? Well, no matter. By the time this tale is told, you will. Not by me, but by the man who did tell it some 100 years ago. Let me introduce you to Cameron Fergus.
A glass of rum, in heaven's name, landlord. It's cold enough in here to send a man to the grave. And a grave's no place to be. No place to be at all. Begin or end it all with the fact that I am a drunkard, an alcoholic. I have been so ever since I can remember, 30 years or more. I do not like remembering. It's why I drink. There is no excuse for my existence. I am worth nothing to anybody except I'm afraid to die. Afraid to be laid fresh in the grave because I fear my body will not lie there in peace, no more than my soul. So I try only to stay alive and forget. There is no hope for me anywhere in this world or in the next.
Our mystery drama, The Body Snatchers, was adapted from the Robert Louis Stevenson classic, especially for the Mystery Theater, by Ian Martin, and stars Howard Da Silva. The scene is a little pub in Debenham, England. Where is Debenham? It doesn't really matter. An isolated little town not far from London or the stream of life in general. There are a couple of public houses there, and the George is as good or as bad as the others. It just happens to be where Fergus drinks his 5 glasses of rum every night. A strange, bizarre figure that the town long ago accepted, or, if you will, disregarded. But tonight is not an ordinary night in Debenham, as Answer Mary, another habitué, is giving Fergus the latest news.
The squire himself, on his way to the new railway station, struck down as by the finger of God, as his carriage passed the old George here. They got him upstairs to the best room, and they telegraphed off to London with a great men's doctor. Oh, this is a night to remember.
As it must to all men. I didn't mean that, Harry. God speed his doctor on the way, and to keep him out of the cold earth.
Well, he's in a bad way. The landlord thought maybe you'd ever look at him.
Me? Why me?
Well, wouldn't be the first time you've shown your skill. I remember the time old Maud Brinkle dislocated her elbow, and Alfie Price's boy, Richard, broke his leg. You fixed him up real nice, you did.
A simple fracture, an even simpler reduction. Any farmer could have taken care of either.
Well, not like you did. Not by a long shot. Wasn't you set out to be a doctor once? Or maybe even got to be one?
Why don't you learn to mind your own business, Harry?
Well, no offense, old chum. Most of them years we've been drinking together, and did I ever hold back anything from you?
Some of us are by nature open. Others keep ourselves to ourselves. Not that anybody could ever say I had anything to hide. I sat there looking down to the bottom of my glass, swirling that last memory-drowning drink of rum, and thinking to myself the size of the lie I had just said. Oh, it had a kind of truth. Nobody in Debenham could say I had anything to hide. But I knew what black sins I had to hide from the world. And with enough liquor, even sometimes from myself.
Well, listen to that, Fergus, will you? 11's. And our innkeeper isn't here to chase us out at closing time. Too busy upstairs poking his big nose into the great doctor at work, trying to bring the old squire back to life. Not much chance of that, I'd say.
You sneaked up and had a look, did you?
Well, I tried, but no luck. Door shut fast. But I saw the squire on the way in before you got here. His face was all blown up like a balloon and red as one of them lobsters.
How was his breathing?
Well, when they brought him in, he wasn't breathing not at all. And then sudden like he was, but with a sort of rattle in his chest. After that, maybe a minute or so, he stopped again.
Chain strokes.
What's that you say?
Classic symptoms, apoplexy. Probably irreversible. The breathing pattern formalized as a syndrome by Dr. John Chain, a countryman of mine, and Dr. William Stokes, an Irishman by birth. A sure forerunner of cardiac failure.
Hey, all them big words, you lost me.
Did I? No matter. Your prognosis is probably as accurate as his physicians will be. If indeed the squire is not a corpse already.
Hey, gloomy one you are.
I wonder now where they'd bury him.
Who, the squire? Oh, we'll go right in the family crypt.
In a crypt? Huh? Above ground, then he should be safe enough. I wonder that I didn't see the doctor arrive. Did he come by train?
Lord, no. You missed it all right. Whipped right off the train into old George's cab.
I wonder how I missed the arrival. What did this great medico look like?
Oh, he was, tall, white-haired. But he moved as brisk as a colt. Dressed in the finest broadcloth and white linen, great gold watch and studs and spectacles of the same precious metal.
Yes, there before the grace of God go. And what was the name of this paragon?
This what?
This man of undoubted success.
Oh, McFarlane.
Say that again.
What, the name?
Yes.
McFarlane.
No other name?
Dr. Wolf McFarlane. What's the matter with you, Fergus? You've broken the glass. Wasted the rum. Oh, and you've cut yourself.
Never mind that. Wolf McFarlane. You sure of that?
Well, it's how he introduced himself. Why, do you know him?
Know him? There's nobody knows him better than me. More's the pity. More is the pity and the shame. So the past I had shut out with some success and a great deal more rum came flooding back. Pictures flashed across my mind in a kaleidoscope. Stop-action photographs of disembodied arms and heads. The grisly jokes bandied about over the poor defenseless corpses that passed beneath our hands and were stripped barren by our razor-sharp knives. But it all might have been a bright dedication and a proud way of life, except for Wolf McFarlane, his kind. For every one of us, the end was the triumph. But the means, heaven help the few of us who has to face it. And then, suddenly, there were footsteps on the stairs coming down, closer and closer to me, and I was about to face the man who had tempted me to sell my future. The man who could live with his vileness because he had no conscience and had left me to eke out my life dirty and despairing, afraid to do the only thing I really wanted to die.
You're as white as a sheet, Fergus. Don't take on so. There might be two men with the same name.
My sincere condolences, but the squire was virtually a man from the moment the stroke hit him. Nothing could have saved him.
That's him. That's his voice.
Forgive me for my abrupt leave-taking, but my coach is waiting and I cannot miss the train.
Well, here he goes for the door. If you want to make sure you do know him, you better move fast.
I must see him face to face. McFarlane.
Yes?
Toddy.
Huh?
Toddy McFarlane.
I'm afraid, sir, you have the better of me. I don't believe we are acquainted.
Oh, we are acquainted, all right. Look close. I want you to recognize me.
I've told you... Good Lord. Cameron Fergus.
Yes. Did you think I was too? That we are all so easy shut of old acquaintance?
Oh, hush, man. For the love of God. Let the past bury itself.
Not ours. Nothing stayed buried decently then, did it, Wolf?
Oh, now come, Cameron. We are both a little shaken at this chance encounter. I hardly knew you, I confess at first, but I am overjoyed. Overjoyed to have this opportunity. Unfortunately, I must not fail the train, so if you'll forgive me,
Forgive you?
Well, I meant for running, but, well, let me see, Oh, yes, of course, yes. You shall give me your address, and you can count on early news from me.
Put away your gold pen and your false friendship.
But I want to do something for you, Fergus. I can see, forgive me, that you are somewhat out at elbows. We must take care of that.
Money?
Well...
Money from you? The money I had last from you is lying where I cast it in the rain and mud.
What is the matter with you, Fergus? Now, what is it you want?
I wish I knew. Revenge for Jeannie and the others. An accounting for the wasted rum-soaked derelict you made me. I thought long ago the hand of God, like the squire upstairs, must have struck you down. Perhaps I was appointed for it.
Fergus, Cameron, I beg of you. You've been drinking and you are not in your right mind. Now, don't do anything. What is that you have in your hand?
Don't you remember?
Jeannie's hatpin.
The one you gave her. Would it not be poetic in God's justice to drive it into your throat, up slanting through the mouth till it lodged in the brain, or between the fifth and sixth ribs, driven straight into your black heart?
Help! Have you got on your mind? Help!
Here, Fergus, take it easy.
Help me!
Stay out of this, Harry.
But you...
If you value your life, stay back.
Don't. You can't kill me, Fergus.
You're right, I can't. I should, but I can't. Get out of my sight. Catch your train. Go.
We've got the horses. We want to take that train. Lord above, Fergus, what got into you? Put that long hat pin away. That's a dangerous instrument. More like one of them Italian stilettos.
It was Jeannie's.
Yes, sure it was. Some pretty sparklers, all right. Must have cost a pretty penny, too, but let's put it away and sit down and have a nice little snort for the road, eh?
Yes, drink. Get me drunk. Wipe it out, the past. Let me sleep. And if only I could never wake again.
Yes, right as rain, old chum. Yeah, just what the doctor ordered. That's a funny one, all right. With all the doctors around this night. Like the gentleman who just left.
Don't call him gentleman.
Oh, well, I mean, when a man's become a doctor...
No matter what he thinks he's become, that devil is what he began. A resurrectionist he began, and in his heart, that's the way he'll die.
A resurrectionist? It's a profession that flourished in the early 19th century. Profession, did I say? It was rather a crime. The more familiar names are ghoul, grave robber, body snatcher, the conscienceless night people who provided cadavers for the medical schools, the cold-blooded legion of the who, if a corpse was not to be found, provided a fresh one from the living. I'll return shortly with Act 2. In one of the greatest speeches in the English-speaking theater, Hamlet, the tortured Prince of Denmark, wrestled with the problem, to be or not to be, and came to the conclusion that conscience doth make cowards of us all. Cameron Fergus, though far less innocent than the tragic Dane, as a young man found himself caught in the same wedge. But when he made his decision, he found not death, but a life of remorse and dishonor.
I was the only child of two elderly parents. By my early 20s, they were both gone, leaving me a small but comfortable income. Even in those days, I already considered myself a man about town. But my vices were minor, and inside I had a craving for something more fulfilling in life. Both those lacks were satisfied when I fell under the spell of Wolfe McFarlane. We met first at the house of Jeannie McRoberts, A young woman who epitomized everything pure and sweet to me, and whom I secretly hope to marry one day. Oh, Jeannie, this music's too slow.
It's romantic.
Well, maybe that's what I meant. Let's sneak out for a walk in the garden.
Oh, no. It's not the music that's too slow for you, Cameron.
Oh, I suppose it was.
I wouldn't trust you out there all alone.
You walked out with him.
Who?
The tall one there, dancing with Maggie Dyack.
Wolf McFarlane. It's the first time he's our guest, and besides, it was still twilight then.
He's a dandy, all right. And he has all of you girls making eyes at him. Where's he from?
Glasgow, I think. He's here in his second or third year as a medical student, working under Dr. Knight.
I suppose he's turned your head, too, huh?
He did when we danced. Oh. What could be more exciting than being a doctor anyway? Someone who can make you well if you're ill.
Oh, maybe I'd better consider taking up the profession myself, so I won't lose you.
So, Cameron, you've a taste for being a doctor, eh?
I can think of no higher calling.
Well, that's flattering. Have you the talent for it?
I stood high in my class at the university.
Oh, you've a brain, all right, I've no doubt. At least so Miss McRoberts informed me.
Did she now?
But when I spoke of being a doctor in talent, I meant other things.
Such as?
Have you a strong stomach? Can you stand the sight of blood?
I wouldn't turn from it.
Have you the nerves of steel?
I don't exactly know what you mean.
Could you take a scalpel and split a man or a woman from breastbone to pubis with a steady hand? Could you open the stomach and cut out a diseased organ? Could you amputate a leg or an arm?
I'm not exactly sure it was being a surgeon I had in mind.
Oh, never mind the live bodies, lad. It's the ones you have to cut through first. There's no other way to learn anatomy firsthand, and not all of them are fresh from the grave.
What does that mean?
You'll find out for yourself. How are your scruples?
I think you're just having fun with me. I'm sorry I asked. I don't need you to further my ambition. There are other ways.
Oh, nay. Hold, lad, don't be so hot-tempered. I was pulling your leg a little, but less than you might think. And you do need me more than you think.
Why?
My recommendation to the doctor in charge of the medical school, as it happens, would open the doors for you like that.
Would you give it to me?
I just might. In exchange for something.
What?
The rest of your waltzes with Miss Jeannie. She's the only girl here with any grace or style. Like a feather in the wind. And I love to dance. Is it a bargain?
It's the one I can't control. It's Jeannie who says who she'll dance with.
But if you ask her and tell her why?
I'll tell her on one condition.
And what is that?
That she saves the last one for me.
Well, I can hardly blame you. And if we are to be friend and colleagues, why should I be greedy, eh? Shake hands on the bargain.
Shake.
To a long and close future together, Fergus. We can use a man like you.
I take that as a compliment. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That I should ever have seen the day I thanked the man I have spent my life cursing and reviling. What an innocent I was. I kept my part of our bargain in my naivete and excitement, not noticing that Jeannie's reluctance to change her dance card was neither long nor strong. My head was spinning too much with other future dreams, that I was to become a doctor. For Wolf McFarlane kept his part of the bargain, too.
So, Wolf, this is the young man you've spoken so highly of.
Only because he deserves the recommendation, Dr. Kirk. He's a man we can use in more ways than one.
Splendid. We're always in need of recruits, Mr. Fergus. Wolf here tells me you are a young man with a fine taste for a night of romping, and wake up bright-eyed and clear-headed of a morning with no hangover, either physical or mental. Well, that makes us three of a kind. And that's what it takes to make a mark in our profession, lad. Stamina, staying power. We have to do many things that would make an ordinary mortal's blood run cold.
If you'll try me, sir, I don't think you'll find me wanting.
Well spoken, Cameron Fergus. I like you. What do you say, Wolf? Shall we make him one of us?
My vote is aye.
Well, then so is mine. I leave it up to you to initiate him into the mysteries and secrets of his new profession. But softly, slowly, mind you. We can't scare him off till he's well hooked, eh? We must show the best side before he sees the worst.
You're very kind, Dr. Kirk, but I know you're only testing my resolve. How could so noble a profession have a bad side?
Well, Dr. Kirk meant only, I'm sure, that it has a difficult side.
No, to be sure. No prize worth winning can easily be come by. Work hard, and let Wolf here help you over the rough spots. For my money, you couldn't have a finer guide.
A finer guide, that much was true. A guide to hell and damnation. But I'd never have realized it then. Wolf was my friend, mentor, and convivial partner. I found that I was a natural doctor, nay, more than that, perhaps a surgeon. But in that field of medicine lay all the seeds of disaster. To study anatomy, one needs a body, and you cannot practice on a live one. I was not so innocent that I didn't know the answer to that. But it was not till the end of my first year, when I moved in with Wolf, that I had to face it. Wolf, wake up.
What? Name of a dog, what hour is it?
It wants 10 to 3.
And you wake me, Fergus?
Someone at the door.
Oh, of course. Reason I bid you move in tonight. Now, get dressed while I answer that.
But what is...
Don't ask questions. Do as I say.
Governor, I was off there.
No, sorry for the delay. Just give me a moment or two, eh?
We have a real load tonight. We'll need help.
Oh, don't worry. We have it. Meet us at the usual place, eh? Check me my trousers there, Cameron.
What is it?
Do I have to spell it out? The Resurrectionists. And tonight they have a cart full. Tonight is your baptism. You going to let me down?
Well, enough in hindsight to know what I should have answered to that. But I was young, and I thought he was my friend. And so, half-dressed, half-sober, half-anesthetized, we went to the building that housed the dissecting lab and began the nights, or I should say, the early morning's work.
All right. Put it down. There we are. Is that the last?
Not tonight. One more.
Fine. Before you bring it up, let me introduce you to Dr. Cameron Fergus.
Well, how do you do?
The gentleman prefers to leave his name out of these transactions. Just call him Digger.
That's me, by nature and profession.
When you bring the last one up, Dr. Fergus will pay you. The usual tariff. Now, Fergus, I'm going to have to leave you in charge.
Why did you call me doctor when I'm not even...
You've got a lot to learn. We need the title to keep these fellows in hand.
What do you mean?
I'll explain it to you soon. Now, first off, here is a key. It unlocks the safe there. Now, there's money, cash in there, and I'll tell you just how much to disperse. But be sure the safe is securely locked before these ruffians return. Now, I have to get to Dr. Kirk right away and tell him what luck we've had tonight. He'll want to make arrangements for dissecting and anatomy classes tomorrow.
It seems strange. Potter's Field death rate was so high this one night.
In this part of our business, it is well to question as little as possible.
I followed the easy path to do as I was told. To suspend thinking, pay off the grave robbers, and twine myself irrevocably in a practice which, no matter how we as doctors might believe its morality, in those days, could involve death by hanging. But if I thought of it much, after the Body Snatchers were come and gone and paid, it was all forgotten when Dr. Kirk joined us.
A magnificent day in our lives, gentlemen. I congratulate you both for your part in this. While at the same time, I need not enjoin you to the secrecy we must maintain. My congratulations for tonight, and carry on the good work, gentlemen. I bid you good morning.
High words, Dr. Kirk. And we are left with all the dirty work.
What do you mean?
The time has really come for you to stop asking the very answerable question. In the name of medicine and research, we gather bodies, right?
But that is no crime. Using already flesh, which can render up to us secrets of how to handle living flesh, is not a valid crime.
On that basis, you have an argument. If the flesh is already moribund. But body snatching is a rewarding crime. And if there is no body to snatch, with the kind of man who plies this trade, do you think he would hesitate to wait for the flesh to die if his source of supply ran low?
Oh, good Lord, what are you saying?
Oh, don't pretend innocence. If your conscious brain will not admit the truth, your subconscious one knows it. And you signed for the bodies tonight. Willy-nilly, you are with us from here on in.
With us from here on in. For the first time, I realized I was trapped. For a moment, I even thought my friends had made use of me. But then I thrust that thought aside. They were pioneers, like myself, taking the only means to great ends. And if indeed it were true that an occasional body had not met a natural death, why, by all reason, it could only be someone who was a criminal, who had sought it himself. So I reasoned, and with another drink of fiery scotch to soothe my addled brains, soothed my burning conscience. This would be the end of all connection with resurrection men, I swore, not knowing how devastatingly empty the oath I took was destined to be.
Poor Cameron Fergus, lulled into the crime of accessory after the fact, controlled by men wiser in the ways of vice than he, who would soon involve him as accessory before the fact, and even worse. I'll return shortly with Act 3. Most doctors of those days were not about to be troubled by the material they dissected. Only the few who trafficked in procuring the illegal material were involved in matters of conscience. And most of them, sad to say, found rich enough rewards to still what small worm of morality might squirm within their hearts. The resurrectionists were well paid, and the men who bought the dreadful merchandise each made their own defenses.
But I lean on you and Wolf, Cameron boy. You're my right and left arms. A constant supply of cadavers is the prime necessity of the school.
I know, but where they come from is...
My boy, that's no question for us. They bring the body, we pay the price. Quid pro quo, as they say in the Latin tag.
But, sir...
Let's have no more buts, Fergus. And no questions, for conscience sake.
But that's exactly the problem, sir. I watch these ruffians come in before the dawn, in the dead of night, and I cannot help but be struck by their hangdog looks, their eyes averted. I want to have no part of it, sir.
If you expect to stay here and achieve your degree, I tell you, you must be part of it. I'm sorry to be so blunt, Fergus, but that's the way it is. And I have no further time to talk to you.
Wolf, help me. We are condoning, nay, even promulgating murder.
Fergus, you think too much. Accept your duty and concentrate on learning to be a doctor, not a policeman.
And what is my duty?
Take what is brought, pay the price, and avert your eyes from the evidence of any crime.
What decisions I might have made in my first revulsion, I'll never know. For at that time, Jeannie came back, and the renewal of our acquaintance put everything else out of my head. She was fascinated about my future as a doctor, the future of all of us. I'd rather have you tell me about Paris and Rome.
Oh, that's all for the future. What I want to know about is the present. How soon will you be a doctor?
I'm afraid that takes a little time.
And Dr. McFarland, How is he?
Well, though he's nearer it than me, doctor is still a courtesy title.
I wish you'd tell me all about your lives, and what they're like.
It's not a subject for a girl.
Well, Wolf McFarlane didn't mind talking about it.
Well, that's his business. If you'd prefer
And
him...
don't be a silly boy. And don't be jealous. I'm only interested because he's become your friend.
The more fool I that I thought he was. He'd already been a beginning, but now he was to be the cause of my complete downfall. It happened so casually. One afternoon after work in the lab, I dropped into a neighborhood tavern to meet Wolf sitting with a small, pale man, dark eyes very close together, seemingly refined at the start, but to reveal himself later as coarse, vulgar, and vicious.
The tales I could tell you about our old friend Toddy here.
Toddy?
Sure. Toddy McFarlane. What, has he kept his nickname secret from all of you?
It seems so. Why Toddy?
Because every time we pulled off a rough one, we'd drink a toddy to our trickiness. Hey, Toddy?
I wish you wouldn't call me that.
Drink up and enjoy the good living it brings all of
Oh,
us.
for God's sakes, watch your mouth.
Well, now, will you listen to our preacher? Pay no attention to him, Cameron. Is that your given name?
Yes, but...
I may be a pretty bad fella myself, but Toddy here, Toddy McFarlane, could put us all to shame. Here, look, have a look at him. If looks could kill. Toddy hates me because I know too much about him.
I told you don't call me that confounded...
I'll call you as I please. What can you do to keep my mouth shut, Toddy? Just look at him, Cameron Fergus. Did you ever see the lads play knife? He'd like to do that. All over my body.
We medicals have a better way than that. When we dislike a friend of ours, we dissect him. Why I made that stupid, ugly joke, I'll never know. I longed to snatch the words back the moment they were said. Would to God I could have. I was to regret them the rest of my life. I should have admitted before this that I was well paid for my work of receiving nocturnal corpses. No questions asked. It was 3 nights after I had met Gray, and I was on duty at the empty dissecting rooms when...
Come on, Fergus, damn it, man. Would you have me caught red-handed?
Wolf, what are you doing here at this hour?
Shh. Ask no questions. I have some merchandise in the gig. Help me in with it.
It was a small enough figure wrapped in a winding sheet, and it was no job for the two of us to bring him in and stretch him on a table. But for some reason, Wolf McFarlane was breathing as heavy as if we had lifted a horse.
All right, sealed and delivered. Let's have it signed.
What?
Get to the safe. I want you to pay me and give me the receipt.
Since when did you turn resurrectionist?
We're short of bodies, are we not? Nothing for the class to start on tomorrow? Come on. Let's get the transaction over with.
Patience, man. We've the rest of the night. Your friend is in no hurry anymore.
Sign the paper and give it to me.
Well, don't you want the money first?
The paper.
All right. My signature for posterity.
And from me, this is all I need.
And the money?
My present to you, old chum. The finder's fee, too. You've been working too hard as it is. A man ought to have some reward. Why don't you take my rig and slip on home? I'll cover for you for the rest of the night.
It's late enough for both of us to leave.
Oh, I think I'll stay. Pre-dissect the derelict there. Ready to pass around to our eager students when they arrive. McNeil's working on the lower extremities. Sharples is screaming for a liver.
What's the matter with you? You seem unnerved. Who in...
No, don't take that sheet away, don't. Very well. You had to know. Now you know why I had to have your signature of acceptance.
It's Gray. The man who...
A man who could have ruined all of us. We're in this boat, sink or swim. Would you want your neck on the gallows like Burke? This man is valuable to the advancement of medicine. Accept the fact of his death. Never question the how. You're one of us still, young Fergus. Forever.
So I was already trapped. I began a long lifetime of drinking in earnest. I was neither surprised nor that much affected when Jeannie turned from me. Even the fact that I heard by the grapevine, certainly not from his lips, that Wolf was squiring her about, failed to rouse me. I felt myself forever. I wasn't good enough for her. But youth is resilient, and once I had digested my involvement, I learned to live with it. Even thought to go back to Jeannie again. As it happened, I chose, accidentally, the day that Wolf was to receive his sheepskin as a doctor.
I never realized what real love was until I met Wolf.
Puppy love, real love. Would you like me to tell you about this man you worship so? What he's really like?
Don't be so silly and jealous.
I'm not thinking of myself, Jeannie. It's you. I want to protect you from...
I'm quite old enough to handle my own affairs.
Oh, I doubt that. You couldn't understand a man like Wolf.
Take your hands off me.
Damn it, if I have to shake some sense into that lovely head, I'll do it with my hands. If I can't, with words.
Fergus, you asked me.
Fergus, have you lost your mind?
I'm trying to save her from you.
Well, get your hands off her, you little fool.
Oh, leave me go.
If you insist, remember, you asked for it.
Oh, you didn't hurt him, Wolf.
I imagine I did. He'll have a sore jaw tomorrow. As sore as my head. But what else could I do?
Well, nothing else. I don't ever want to see Fergus anymore.
I wasn't unconscious. I could hear all of this. And I thought at that moment that life could scarcely deal with me more harshly. Fool that I was, with the worst yet to come.
Special delivery tonight, Fergus, me boy. 5. Douse the light till we trail him in.
Come ahead. Stack them where you will. I wouldn't care if Queen Victoria was one of them. I've had my fill of this job.
Nobody likes it much, but it's a living, as we say in the trade. Might as well get something from the...
I went about my business mechanically, mind drugged by liquor, body reacting out of sheer habit, and then... a horror of horrors looked up at me from the dissecting table. Her blue eyes, open, staring with a startled horror that she could come to this. Jeannie McRoberts, a candidate for the cold-blooded dissection, candidate for jokes and the discard by the morrow's crew of medical students.
Judy, I'm just as horrified as you, Fergus.
She died no natural death. There were marks of violence on her, possible strangling.
But why?
I can't tell you why, or guess at least. She was pregnant. She was carrying a child.
How do you know?
Dr. Kirk was with us first thing in the morning. Everyone attends dissections. Jeannie was with child.
Do you suppose she killed herself?
You know she didn't. Jeannie was murdered. I'm not going to let her die unrevenged.
You're not suggesting I had anything to do with it.
Exactly.
I'd reconsider that statement if I were you.
Oh.
If anyone did kill her, and mind you, I'm not saying they did, you would be the logical suspect.
Oh.
She did spurn you.
Yes, but...
Let me remind you about the bodies that you've received for dissection and signed for. Many of which you must have known died not natural deaths. Gray, for example. If you want to place any necks in the noose, go ahead. But give first a care to your own, my lad. I warned you when you began this business. You should be without a conscience.
He knew me too well, Harry. Conscience I had, but no courage.
You mean that distinguished doctor who just left murdered the girl?
Why not? An obscure Scottish girl he could never have married since his ambitions reached so high.
Well, I'll tell you something, man to man. I'm surprised you didn't kill him right out of hand. If your story be true.
Oh, the story is true, right enough. And the proof of it all is that I didn't.
Here, finish your drink, old chap.
Thanks. Oh, strong enough. False courage, maybe. I never had the real thing. Else none of all of this would have happened.
Well, at least you had some conscience.
Which finally has caught up with me.
Here, What have you done?
Ginny's hatpin. The weapon of remorse.
Good almighty, Fergus. You drove the hatpin straight into your heart. Here, let me help.
By all means. Pull it out, Harry.
Oh,
Don't hesitate. Pull it out.
good. Now, grit your teeth now. There. Now, that'll be better.
Don't you believe it? Only thing might have saved me was to leave it there. Now I'm sure to die. One thing at least I did right in my life. Just do me one favor, Harry.
What's that?
I've enough money. See me buried above ground in a strong, tight crypt. Don't let me be had at the last by the body snatchers. Wherever I go, let me go whole and accept my judgment. Whatever it is. Oh.
A curious and chilling story, with no moral that I or any man can quite offer. The raw material for the study of medicine that today has prolonged life by almost twice as much as could be expected in the last century is no longer needed so much. Thank heaven the ghoul, the body snatcher, and the resurrectionist man have passed from our lives, or deaths, since that was their concern. I'll be back shortly. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Are drastically altered, and two people become lost in... Well, you'll hear. It'll all come out as we go along. Norma and Hal, he's Harold Glenford III, have inherited an ancient brownstone on New York's East 58th Street. Hal hasn't seen the house or the uncle who left it to him since he was a little boy. He doesn't know what to expect any more than Norma does, as they inspect the old house now for the first time since it became their own.
Yeah, you need a machete to get through these cobwebs.
Well, nobody's lived here in 10 or 15 years, you said. But it's going to be beautiful. A little belt tightening, maybe, but we can make it.
I don't advise tightening your belt. No kidding, Norma. The baby's due in April. You're going to have to stop working pretty soon. It's not going to be easy on my salary alone.
Oh, nobody said it was going to be easy.
And there are the ghosts, of course.
Cut it out.
Well, now, according to Uncle George, that's the reason nobody's been living here. The ghosts drove Uncle George himself out. That's what he said. And he couldn't keep the place rented, so he just gave up.
Okay. A house like this needs a ghost.
Our mystery drama, The Fatal Connection, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Field and Farrington and stars Jennifer Harmon and Nick Pryor. It is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware Stores. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Many scientists and philosophers see time as a road along which we pass, or a river along which we drift, the future waiting for us just around the bend ahead, the past obscured
but not obliterated by the turn we just made. The rest of us, ordinary mortals that we are, find the moment in which we are currently trapped just about all we can handle. Norma and Hal Glenford have moved into their old house on East 58th Street. The furniture from their former 3-room apartment only half fills the first floor. The second floor and the attic-like third floor will have to wait.
Except, Hal, we'll have to have a nursery. You know, our baby's bedroom.
You stand there, the living proof of it.
And there's no place for it on the first floor, so we'll have to find a place on the second floor, right?
Logical.
Then our bedroom will have to be on the second floor, too, don't you see? I mean, we have to sleep on the same floor with the baby.
Hey, you're right. I hadn't thought of it before.
The back room on this floor makes a very small bedroom anyway. We could use it as a sort of, I don't know, music room or study or whatever.
You make us sound very prosperous.
We will be. Lawyers are always rich when they get a little older.
I like the sound of that, Norma. Doesn't make any sense, but I find the simplicity of it comforting.
So shall we go upstairs and see what's there for a bedroom and a nursery?
Okay. I'll go first and clear away the cobwebs.
Oh, we'll carpet the stairway. Later, of course.
When we're rich. That's an old bedroom, as I recall. One of the doors is a linen closet. There are 5 doors, so that leaves just 3 rooms.
One more than we need. Well, this would be all right for our bedroom. It's much nicer than the little room downstairs, don't you think?
Okay. Bedroom here. That takes care of us. Now about Junior. Hey, this door's locked.
Well, just stuck, probably.
No, it's locked. Why would anybody lock an inside door? That's odd. Where did I put that bunch of keys the lawyer gave us?
In your jacket pocket, dummy. You think maybe there's a treasure hidden in that room?
Or ghosts. It's been locked for a while.
It's all furnished.
Son of a gun. Right out of the 19th century. It looks like what used to be an upstairs sitting room or something of the kind.
Oh, Hal, just look at that secretary. It must be 100 years old, and it looks just as solid as...
Oh, my gosh, a telephone.
One of those old wall phones. I've seen pictures of them. Shouldn't it have a crank? Oh, I'd like to furnish the whole house just like this. You know, everything to match the house itself. I wouldn't change a thing in here.
Well, I could live without the cobwebs and the dust.
Well, I'll speak to the upstairs maid about it. Good help is so hard to come by lately, my dear. Have you noticed?
Oh, I have indeed.
It's the times, I'm afraid. Everything seems to be going to pot. Well, darling, would you believe it? The butcher today wanted 18 cents a pound for steak. Just plain old beef steak. 18 cents a pound.
Well, they might as well eat at Delmonico's if it costs that kind of money to cook at home.
Oh, let's, shall we?
This evening? Well, why not? I'll order a hack. Excuse me, my dear. Operator, I'd like a hansom cab sent to 621 East 58th Street at once. At once, understand? We'll be going to Delmonico's. Let's go back downstairs where the 20th century is and see if there are any hot dogs in the refrigerator.
Actually, though, I guess 18 cents was hard to come by in those days, as $2 is today.
Not for old Grandpa Glenford, it wasn't. Great-grandpa, that would be. He was filthy rich.
Was he the one who built this house?
No, I don't know that he built it. He was the first Glenford to own it.
Whatever happened to all that money?
Gave it away.
Gave it away?
That's what my father told me. Maybe it was just a figure of speech.
You know what we ought to have? We ought to have a bottle of champagne to break over the bow of the house, or the stern, or whatever they break it. His houses had them.
Well, now, if you look in the refrigerator, just to the right of the meat drawer, you'll find a quart of excellent domestic champagne cooling. To be taken internally, though, not broken over anything.
Oh, what a doll you are. Shall we have it now?
Well, I thought after dinner, but if you'd rather...
What was that?
Well, it sounded like somebody at the door.
Well, what's the matter with the doorbell?
Honey, I don't know. Maybe it's broken. Maybe somebody likes the knocker better. I'll see who it is. Yes? What can I do for you?
Your hansom cab, sir? For Delmonico's, I believe?
It was a joke of some kind, Norma.
Who played it if it was a joke? I mean, who knew you made that nutty pretend phone call upstairs? I don't see how it could be a joke.
Well, then, a coincidence. There are hansom cabs still operating over at Central Park.
Oh, sure. And one of them just happened to drive all the way across town. And as long as it was in the neighborhood, the driver just thought he'd knock at our door and tell us our cab was here to take us to Delmonico's. Oh, come on, Hal.
Well, okay. You explain it.
I can't. That's what's bothering me.
Well, you don't think... No, you surely don't think...
No. No, of course I don't. What did the driver say when you sent him away?
Well, something about it was a funny mistake for the office to make if I didn't order a hansom. He was grumpy about losing a fare.
Did he look like a real hansom cab driver? I mean, did he look like somebody you've seen driving a hansom around the park today, or was he, well, you know, dressed like the real old-timey ones?
I didn't really notice. Look, now, why don't we just forget him? Why don't we just have dinner and see what's on TV and drink our champagne and go to bed? I've got to go to work in the morning, even if I do live in a mansion. Especially since I do.
Here's to great-grandfather Glenford.
Look, take it easy with that stuff, will you? The bottle's half gone already. You're a novice at this, remember?
And here's to hansom cab drivers everywhere. Hey, you know what we ought to do?
There isn't any more champagne, if that's what you mean. I only bought one bottle.
No. What we ought to do is something about that phone upstairs.
Yeah, like have it taken out.
No, I want to order something. A new dress. Something like that. I mean, if they send over cabs when you order them, why not?
You'd better let me finish this bottle.
Bring it upstairs. Come on.
4 years it's taken me to find out I married a lush.
There it is. Our fairy godmother compliments of the telephone company. You want to go first?
No, you go ahead. I'm just along for the ride.
What shall I ask for?
No, look, don't fool around with one dress. Ask for a whole new wardrobe. As long as you're going to be a kook, you might as well be kooky in the grand manner.
You're a genius. Hello? I want a whole new wardrobe. Oh, no, 2 wardrobes. One for myself and one for my husband. Everything in the latest style and everything must fit perfectly. Oh, and have everything finished and delivered by the time I get home from work tomorrow afternoon. That's, I guess, it for now. You want to order something, Hal?
Well, sure. Why not? Here, give me that. Hello. I want the house completely redecorated. Completely. Restored, I should say, exactly as it was when the place was new. And I don't mean just when you get around to it. I want that finished by tomorrow afternoon also. By the end of the working day. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Let's finish this bubble water and get to bed. Hey, what do you bet you have a headache in the morning?
You'd have lost that bet. No headache. All I want is a cup of coffee, though.
Me too. That's all we have time for anyway.
Well, pick me up after work this afternoon.
Sure. I may be a little late, though.
That's okay. A secretary's work is never done.
So, after I spend the better part of 3 weeks working on this brief, and it's brilliant if I do say so myself, who do you think is going to take it into court?
Mr. Fuller?
Old J.C. himself. Who else? How was your day?
Oh, you know. Once you've typed one letter, you type them all. You know something? We ought to walk home from my office every evening.
Hold my briefcase while I unlock the door, will you?
I wonder if they finished.
Who finished what?
The decorators, you know. You told them it had to be finished by the end of the working day. How?
Now, this is too much. I mean, what kind of a joke?
It is, Hal. It's all been redecorated, restored. Just like you ordered. Oh, Hal.
Hey, where's our new television set? Now that is going too far. That set cost color TV. That was a 21-inch screen.
But how did they do it? Who did it? I mean, I can't figure. Hal.
What?
The refrigerator's gone. Look at this thing. What is it?
It's an old ice box. It's full of ice. I don't think you can get ice like this anymore. There's something. This is all wrong, Norma.
It's not a joke, is it, Hal? Nobody makes this kind of a joke.
A coal range. An old coal range. My grandmother Scott had one of those out in her summer kitchen. Nobody used the things even then.
The toaster, the blender, everything, Hal, it's all gone.
That telephone. That telephone.
It's real, isn't it? It really is real. You tell the telephone you want something and you get it. It's like a genie in a bottle. You just order it and I think I'm scared.
All right. If it'll work one way, it ought to work the other too. In reverse.
What are you going to do, Hal?
Come on. I'm going up there and I'm going to tell that lousy telephone to put our own stuff back in this house and then leave us alone. That's what I'm going to do. Now listen, you, whoever you are, I want you to stop.
Number, please.
Oh, my God.
Hal?
Norma, let's get out of this place.
A telephone, redecorate and completely restore a 19th century house, and all in the course of an 8-hour day? It seems impossible, doesn't it? And yet there it is. And somebody did it. Or something. We'll look into it further when I return shortly with Act 2. Time. One of the many things we still don't understand about our universe. Now here, in an old house on New York's East Side, Hal and Norma Glenford have found an antiquated telephone that seems to constitute some kind of flaw in what we consider the natural passage of time. At least in the incredibly short objective space of 8 hours, the house has somehow become its original 19th century self. The past, if Hal and Norma can believe what they see and hear, has been trapped within its walls. The eeriness of it has sent the two of them frightened out onto 58th Street.
It's so quiet out here. And so dark. I don't remember it being this dark before.
Well, we haven't been around this neighborhood much at night. I guess east of First Avenue, the city just doesn't waste money on bright lights.
Let's walk up that way, Hal. Right now, I don't want to go back into the house.
Okay. Up toward 3rd Avenue or Lex? You know, I don't think I ever heard New York this quiet before. East side, west side, day or night. It's like a tomb.
Hal? Hal, do you hear it?
I don't hear anything, just...
Now do you hear it?
Well, yeah, I hear something like a... It's like a...
It sounds to me like an L train. A few blocks away, like the 3rd Avenue L.
Which was torn down. When? 15 years ago.
Well, listen to it.
Hey, this I've got to see.
But how if it's the old 3rd Avenue L, then that means that everything...
No,
everywhere...
listen, we don't know what it means. Some nostalgia freak with a recording, probably. Something like that. Come on, let's go see.
Now, if that isn't an L stopping, I've never heard an L stopping.
You haven't in a long time.
But I've heard plenty of them when I was a kid.
Wait a minute, Norma. What do you hear now?
A horse. Don't tell me that's not a horse.
That sure sounds like one. Mounted cop, most likely, or maybe that same nostalgia buff.
If that's a recording, then it's some recording. I've never heard a record.
Now, wait a minute. Wait. That horse is no recording. It's either a mounted policeman or...
There's your nostalgia buff. All 4 hoofs.
Well, some companies must still use horses. You know, late at night.
It's not that late. Anyway, look what's in the wagon.
I see them. Those big milk cans. They used to... Well, look, I don't know. Maybe they still use them.
I'm scared.
Well, it's spooky, I admit that. So still and no traffic except that horse and wagon? Well, look, Norma, there's got to be a logical explanation. I mean, if there's not, what's happened? Have we lost our minds?
Oh, no.
Well, no, Norma, don't get upset.
No, Hal, that's not what I mean. Look up there.
Up where?
At the light. The street light on the corner.
It looks like a...
It's a gas light, that's what it is.
I think maybe we ought to get back to the house and see if we can't get organized.
It's back there, too, Hal.
Okay, but if everything's gone back to the 19th century or something, let's at least go back and face it in our own home.
If we still have a home.
The key seems to turn easier.
What if there's somebody in there? I mean, we didn't live here, and... Oh, what year do you think it is, Hal?
It's... Oh, Lord, I'm so mixed up. How can it be anything but 1974? That's what it is.
Or was, or will be.
Now, we've got to stop this foolishness. The first thing we need is some dinner. Maybe with some good, solid food inside us, we can take a more reasonable view of this mess.
I don't know how to cook on a coal range. I don't even know how to make it burn, do you? Well, we were lucky there was some stuff in the icebox already cooked. I wonder who cooked it.
Maybe my grandmother.
What do you suppose happened to them? Your great-grandmother and grandfather. Are they supposed to be living here? Are they going to come walking in and...
Listen, what's that?
It's that phone upstairs, Hal.
You mean the one that... Oh, Lord.
Let it ring, Hal. Just let it ring.
I can't. If it's somebody from whatever year this is, I've got to talk to him, Norma. I've got to.
All right, but I'm going with you. They put carpet on the stairway. Or had it on the stairway, whichever.
Hurry up, will you? I don't want whoever it is to hang up before we get there.
It's actually a new house now, isn't it? You don't see the signs of age anymore. It doesn't look like 1,000 coats of paint on everything.
Hello?
This is Bill, Harold. Where have you been all day?
Well,
I practically camped outside your office all afternoon, and you never did show up.
who did you say this is?
Are you all right, Harold? It's Bill Voigt, your partner.
Oh, yes, of course. I was wool gathering.
I guess you were. Listen, I've got to talk to you bright and early tomorrow morning. You're in a jam, Harold.
A jam? Well, can't you tell me about it now?
You'd better get in here tomorrow for your own good. It's nothing to do with me, but for your own good.
Oh, well, if it's that important...
It is. It's to you, Harold, not to me. To you.
All right. Thanks for calling, Bill.
What was that about a jam?
He didn't say. But you want to know something weird? He thought he was talking to my great-grandfather. That man called me Harold, and that was his name. I can't remember anybody ever calling me Harold my whole life. He thought he was talking to my great-grandfather. I can't see. How did they read by these silly gas lights anyway?
There's an oil lamp right there on the desk. I think they used oil lamps to read by at night. The gas fixtures are all up on the wall.
Well, do you know how to light one of these things amid the lamps?
Well, just take the chimney off, or the glass thing. Then you hold a match to the wick like a candle.
Because if this is my great-grandfather's desk, I mean, the way he left it only yesterday, I want to know what's in it. Is this what you mean by the wick?
Yes. Do you think we'll ever get back, Hal? I don't know if I could stand it stuck here forever.
There's no way of knowing, Norma. Everything's written in longhand. This looks like a deed of some kind. Most likely for the house. No. My gosh.
What?
This is a deed to an office building on Fifth Avenue. way downtown, but that's where the action was in those days. These days.
Your great-grandfather owned an office building?
I told you, he was loaded. There goes that lousy telephone again.
Don't answer it, Hal.
Look, you can come with me. It's no good just letting it ring. It's got to be somebody important. There weren't many phones in those days. These days, only rich people could afford telephones.
It'll just mix things up all the more, though, answering it.
Look, it's our only contact the way things are.
I wish. Oh, it's no good wishing.
Hello?
Hello. Mr. Glenford?
Yes?
This is Maud Spencer, Mr. Glenford. Is Norma in?
Just a minute, I'll see. Norma, do you know a Maud Spencer?
I don't know anybody here.
She asked for Norma. Norma. Now, maybe it's a link of some kind. You'd better talk to her.
Oh, Hal, I don't want to talk on that thing.
Look, this could be the breakthrough. Here, talk to her.
Hello?
Norma, my dear. We were all expecting you at Sarah Aldrich's tea this afternoon. I do hope you're not sick.
Sarah who?
Aldrich. Sarah Aldrich. Well, you were invited, weren't you? Sarah said you were.
Oh, well, yes, I guess I was. I mean, yes, of course I was. I've been having these spells, you know, headaches and that kind of thing.
Oh, dear. No trouble about your delicate condition, I hope.
Well, it's related, I guess. Nothing to be concerned about. I'm just supposed to get a lot of rest, you know, stay at home and take it easy.
Oh, dear. Is there anything I can do? I'll come and see you tomorrow afternoon.
No, don't do that.
What?
I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. All I meant was I'm perfectly all right. I really don't need a fuss made over me or anything like that. It just isn't necessary. That's all I meant.
Well, I'm sure I have no wish to intrude where I'm not necessary.
I wish you wouldn't. Hello? Hello? She hung up.
It wasn't anyone you know?
No. I was supposed to have gone to Sarah somebody's tea this afternoon and didn't show up.
Well, it could have been the breakthrough.
One thing. Whoever was supposed to have answered this phone is called Norma, and she's pregnant.
I'll tell you this. My great-grandfather was not a very popular man.
How do you mean?
Well, if he had any friends, they sure didn't write to him. These letters are all from people who hated his guts, claim he stole them blind.
Stole? Do you think it's true?
I'm beginning to believe that old Harold Glenford Esquire was mixed up in some pretty shady enterprises.
What kind of shady?
Kickbacks, near extortion, character assassination, embezzlement, or something very like it. If a third of these letters are right, you name it, and old great-granddaddy Glenford was into it.
Oh, that's sure.
Listen, you want to hear one?
I'm not sure I do.
Glenford. This guy signs himself James Blakely. Glenford, you are unfit to breathe God's pure air. The ways of God are beyond understanding, but justice is inevitable either in this world, which you befoul, or in the next where, never fear, the punishment you deserve has been prepared for you. To hasten you into that world would be an act of the highest nobility. If I do not do the deed myself, rest assured that another will in good time.
Wow.
A sample. Only a sample.
How?
Well, what is it?
Look at this.
It's This is a picture of you and me. That sure is what it looks like. But in those clothes? Well, where did you get this?
In this desk drawer. Look on the back.
Mr. and Mrs. Harold W. Glenford on the occasion of their wedding, June 1894.
And look at those signatures. Except for a couple of curlicues, they're yours and mine. I can't help it, Hal. I'm scared.
I don't see how it's possible, but it must be. I have somehow become my own great-grandfather. Not only that, but you're you're my great-grandmother, and that child you're carrying, due to be born next April, is my grandfather.
Paradoxical? Well, yes, of course. You presuppose paradox the moment you start moving about in time. How do you know you aren't your own great-grandfather or grandmother? If tomorrow you found an old telephone in your attic, well, how do you know? I'll return shortly with Act 3. If I had my life to live over, that's not an uncommon expression. We've all heard it. But have you ever heard anyone say, if I had my great-grandfather's life to live over? That's exactly what has happened to Harold Glenford, if his conclusions are correct. He has not only gone back in time to his great-grandfather's day, but he has also taken on his great-grandfather's identity, and the wife he loves is now, as he must believe, his own great-grandmother. A situation of many complexities. Hal has broken open the strongbox he found in old Harold Glenford's desk and has gone quickly through its contents.
Well, there's one comfort. If we actually are my great-grandfather and grandmother, we're very rich people.
Well, what difference does that make?
A lot. If we're stuck in this time.
I want out, rich or not.
Well, honey, so do I, of course. But there are securities and deeds in this strongbox representing well over $1 million in assets. And $1 million was really worth something in 1897.
Is that when it is now?
Mid-November of 1897, according to the dates on those letters I read.
How can't you do something about it?
What? Invent a time machine? Look, I don't know. Maybe it'll just happen. Like the other time, only in reverse. Norma, I'm sorry. That's the best I have to offer. Meantime, I think we ought to get some sleep.
Sleep? In the middle of a thing like this? Sleep?
Try to, anyway. I wish we had that bottle of champagne we drank last night. Oh, Lord. It wasn't last night. The grapes that went into that champagne haven't even been planted yet.
Hello there.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you had someone in your office with you.
Never mind, I was just leaving. Sit down, Harold. You were wise to shave off your beard.
Oh, yes. Well, my wife never really liked it, and I thought...
Well, it served you well. Blakely didn't recognize you.
Was that James Blakely?
What are you talking about? You know perfectly well it was James Blakely.
No, I mean, I had a letter from him yesterday. I could have... Did you know I could have him in court for some of the things he said?
Yeah, that's rather funny, you know. You having James Blakely in court instead of the other way around? That's really very funny.
I don't think I know what you mean.
Well, that's neither here nor there. I want to dissolve our partnership, Harold, as of this moment.
Oh? Do you mind telling me why?
Do you really think that's necessary?
I wish you'd tell me...
All right. I've had my fill of being a thief's associate.
Now, wait.
I know. I took my share in the beginning. You're not the only fool in the room, but I'm through with it now. And thank God I had no part in the Blakely thing.
All right. I was checking things over last night. Thinking things over. Some of my business tactics have been, all right, shameful. I admit that. But I decided last night to change things. I mean, no shady dealings of any kind from now on.
I see. Change things. And make restitution?
Well, where it's reasonable, where it's possible.
Without costing you money, you mean? I don't believe you, Harold. Not for a minute I don't. How are you going to make restitution to Jim Blakely?
I don't... Would you mind refreshing my memory on the Blakely thing?
Oh, now, really,
No,
Harold?
I've been Lately, I've been reassessing. I've been reevaluating, and there are just so many details. I'd just like to hear the Blakely affair clearly stated. Objectively, you know.
Oh, nonsense. Well, all right, if you want to hear it all over again, if you
if you really want to wallow in that miserable can of worms a second time.
Still, it would help me.
Well, Blakely came to you in the first place, looking for a handout. On the tape, granted. I'm sure you haven't forgotten that.
No.
You were still under 30 at the time, but you were already under my guidance, Smith. That's what I hate. You were already a power in the construction industry. Blakely was sure you gave kickbacks, and he wanted one.
Then he was as much to blame as I if he came to me.
At the time, you managed it so that you had his signature on a dozen damaging documents. And you never signed so much as a letter to him. You remember that? Well, you've always worked that way, and you gave him a low bid on that job, and good value, too. The State Parks Commission building, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
And Blakely got a promotion because of it, and another, until he was made State Highways and Buildings Commissioner. It wasn't until then that you started blackmailing him. Blackmail?
Well, it's not an uncommon practice.
And you bled him white. No more kickbacks, but every contract out of Blakely's office has gone to you for, what's it been, 2 years now?
Well, if I put him where he is in the first place...
They've caught him, Harold. He's going before a grand jury next week, and they'll indict. He's finished. There isn't a shred of evidence against you except his word, which, of course, isn't worth a tinker's now. You never signed a thing, did you?
A man who signs documents is nothing more than
a fool, like Blakely. Well, does that refresh your memory?
It puts things in perspective.
Well, as I've told you, I'm very happy that I had anything to do with the Blakely business. Right now, he's thinking about killing you. No, seriously. That was just what he was telling me.
Oh, God.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I just remembered something. I'll have to leave now. There's something I must do.
But before you go, about dissolving the partnership. I don't know how you feel about it, but
Anything you say. It doesn't matter. We'll do it any way you like. It isn't important now.
I'm so glad you're home.
Just listen, we have to get out of here.
So awful, Al, being in a place you're so terrified of and being even more terrified of leaving it. I've never in my life...
Norma, we have got to get out of here.
Out of here? Where to?
I mean, altogether out of this time. We've got to get back to the 20th century.
How something's happened, hasn't it?
No. Yes. Norma, there's no time now. Let's try the telephone again.
I want to know. Tell me, Al. Tell me.
Number, please.
Listen, I want you to get off the line. Do you understand? I want you to just unplug yourself or whatever it is you do and just get off the line. Just for a minute or two. Will you do that, please?
Number, please.
Oh, for God's sake, shut up. If you can't get off the line altogether, at least shut up. Don't talk. All right. Listen, you, whoever you are, we have had enough of this nonsense. We want to go back to the 20th century, and we want to go back now. You're the one who got us into this mess. Now get us out of it. Do you hear me?
Number, please.
Al, what are you doing?
Pulling the wires out of the wall. Can't you see? I'm trying to get the lousy telephone back the way it was when we first moved in here. All right. Can you hear me? You in there in your stupid telephone? I want you to put us back. Do you hear me? We didn't ask to be brought here. We're not responsible for anything that happened before we got here. We want to go back. You can't punish me for something my great-grandfather did. Do you hear me? All right, don't answer. You don't have to answer. Just do it. I don't know what else I can do.
Al, the phone isn't hooked up. You pulled the wires out of the wall.
It wasn't hooked up before when all this started. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll get us out of here before...
Before what, Al?
Okay. Come on downstairs. I guess you'll have to know. And he's threatening to kill me. Blakely is. That's what my great-grandfather's esteemed partner told me this morning.
Well, then what are we sitting here for? We have to get out of this house.
It won't do any good, Norma.
It will. There must be 1,000 places to hide. You're just a sitting duck here.
No, there's no hiding place but the 20th century. Back where we're really Hal and Norma Glenford. There's no hiding place at all in this century.
I just don't know what you're talking about.
The thing is, I remember now.
I remembered while I was sitting there in Boyd's office.
Remember what?
I remembered hearing my grandfather... Was he my grandfather or my son? I remember when I was just a little boy hearing my grandfather telling my father about it.
About what, Hal?
My great-grandfather was shot to death by a business associate. By a man he'd cheated, ruined. That's what my grandfather told my father.
All right. That was your great-grandfather.
But it's already happened. To whichever one of us was here, it's already happened. It can't be changed.
I don't believe any of that. I don't. I want you to do something.
I've done all I can do. It's up to that telephone upstairs.
Maybe if we just sit here and think 20th century, it'll work. Close our eyes and just know we're in the 20th century. Listen for auto horns. Think about the Pan Am building. Try to decide what we'll watch on TV later. Breathe the polluted air. Mightn't it work, Hal?
It couldn't hurt.
Close your eyes.
That'll be Blakely.
Don't answer it.
Do you think I'm crazy? Now listen to me. If he's got a gun, he can get at us through the front window. I want you to head for the coat closet as fast as you can and get in there and stay in there until I tell you to come out. Have you got that?
Yes.
Norma, get in the closet.
No. Not as long as you...
Get down, Norma. Get down on the...
How?
Don't move, Norma. He may still be out there.
How? You're bleeding.
I am. I don't feel anything, but I can't seem to...
All over your shirt. I'm going to call an ambulance. Now, don't move. I'll be right back. Don't move.
Can't call an ambulance. I pulled the wires out. Remember?
I'll go out, Hal. There must be a cop or something.
I'll go, Norma. Please. It wouldn't do any good. It's already happened.
But I can't just...
I might not be here when you get back.
Oh, Hal.
I want to tell you something important.
All right.
The kid, next April.
I'll name him Harold and I'll call him Hal.
No. Anything but that. Anyway, his name was Edward. My grandfather.
How don't you think I ought...
No, tell Edward. Tell him when he's old enough. Understand? Tell him. Get rid of the money. All of it. Dirty, filthy, dirty money.
Justice must be served. That goes without saying. But how many times? It's unlikely, of course, that anyone listening to me at this moment will ever find himself unexpectedly living in the 19th century. But just in case, how much do you really know about your great-grandfather? I'll be with you again in a few minutes. Young Edward Glenford, Norma's baby, was born in April 1898 and lived a long and, in some respects, fruitful life. He never made much money, but he gave away several millions of dollars, according to the instructions left by his father. But was it his father or his grandson who gave him those instructions? I leave you to puzzle it out for yourself. Our cast included Jennifer Harmon, Nick Pryor, Robert Maxwell, and Joan Shea. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Well, that's exactly what I've come to talk with you about, Arthur. Your niece.
Oh? Something important?
Very. I've asked Amelia to marry me, and she said she would.
Oh, no.
I've never lied to you, Arthur, and there's certainly no reason for you to...
Don't be a fool, Gerald. I didn't mean that Amelia turned you down. Of course, she accepted you.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I know, and I'm reluctantly forced to explain. When you hear why, you won't want to marry Amelia.
Impossible. There's nothing you can say about Amelia that would make me love her any less. She's the perfect woman.
She's not a woman.
What did you say?
I said Amelia is not a woman. She's a robot.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. I'm E.G. Marshall, keeper of the establishment where we offer you a full line of spine-tingling items, the shivery best in murder, suspense, terror. And right now you can sample our latest offering, which has to do with a return from, well, let us say, a return from the beyond. They say that successful people are those who refuse to take no for an answer. They cannot be swayed by reason. They cannot be convinced by the facts. They cannot be moved by logic. They simply will not listen to anyone who says no, not even to the angel of death himself.
Barney, I don't want to die. Barney.
Rest, darling, rest.
I'm so frightened.
Don't be, Rachel.
The doctor says I have to die.
Please, darling.
I'm so afraid to die.
Shh. No, don't be afraid. Darling, even if you die, I can bring you back.
Barney, what are you saying?
I'm saying I'll bring you back from the dead. Believe me. I'll bring you back from the
Our mystery drama, Is the Lady, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Larry Haynes and Joan Loring. It is sponsored in part by Contact, the 12-hour cold capsule, and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One. I have absolutely no scientific proof, but it does seem to me that, in a general way, a great many people have names that appear to harmonize with their personalities. Do we, therefore, unconsciously strive to maintain the image that our names evoke? I presented this thought merely to introduce you to a gentleman named Barney Kruger. I'm sure Barney Kruger creates an image in your mind, and I'm willing to wager it's a picture of a down-to-earth, practical, two-fisted guy. And you're absolutely right. Barney Kruger is 32 years old and a self-made millionaire. He made his money by sharp, shrewd thinking, by taking nothing for granted, by digging, probing, investigating.
Well, I don't give a rap about the report, Carlson. I want to verify those assets. I want to check bank statements, investigate every officer of that corporation, and start with the day he was born. Now, you know how we do things around here. Get on a plane for Chicago, Carlson, and start digging. nothing's done around here. You've got to do it yourself. There's no other way.
Mr. Kruger.
Oh, yes, Winters.
Your mother's here.
My mother. Oh, yes, my mother. Well, I guess the time has come. Show her in.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Winters.
Hiya, Mom.
Hello.
Get your drink.
No, thank you. Well, this is a happy surprise.
Surprise?
Well, I thought you'd be in Europe at least another week. And so when you just called me just before.
Oh, yes. I did come back ahead of schedule, didn't I?
Barney?
Yes, Mom.
Well, something seems different.
Different? What do you mean different?
Oh, I don't know. The apartment just seems different. Did you have anything done? There's a definite air of difference about the place.
Oh, good or bad?
Well, I'm not sure, but I rather like it. I don't know what it is, but I like it. Now tell me, dear, how was Europe?
Oh, you know, Europe.
Oh, honestly, Barney, I'm sure you've lost count of the number of times you've been to Europe in the past 10 years.
Oh, no, I haven't, Mom. I've gone exactly 85 times. You can check my secretary. She has all the records.
Well, what's the difference? All you know about Europe covers some airports, hotels, restaurants, offices, a few mines, a few mills.
Mom.
You never get to do anything in Europe. I mean, you don't get to do anything European. Now, look, next time, try something different.
Mom, I did do something different this time.
Don't tell me. I'll bet you bought a department store instead of a steel factory.
Well, not exactly.
Now, it doesn't...
I got married.
Married?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, well, congratulations, dear. Now, where is she?
Well, she's right here, Mom.
Well, can I see her?
Well, of course you can see her. It's just that I wanted to break the news to you first myself.
Barney, I'm so happy. I can't believe it.
Well, I can hardly believe it myself.
Well, now, how long have you known her?
Let's see. What's today? Thursday, huh? Well, it's exactly a week.
A week?
Yes, and what a week, Mother.
And who is she?
Rachel.
Rachel?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a lovely name. Rachel who?
Rachel, I don't know.
You don't know her last name?
Well, I did. But I don't seem to remember, Mother. Well, what's the difference? She's Rachel. She's Rachel Kruger now.
Well, how did you meet her?
Well, it's like a dream, Mom. It's just like a dream.
I know, but you had to meet somewhere.
Yes, well, I ran her down.
You what?
Well, you know, Mother, in England, they drive on the wrong side of the road.
You mean you drove on the wrong side of the road?
Well, I don't have any trouble with it while I'm driving straight ahead, Mother. It's when you come to a turn and you have a tendency to swing over to the right. And so we had a little collision.
Barney.
Yeah, well, no one was hurt or even scratched, Mother. But that was how we met. And so I took her to a garage to get her car fixed and then to dinner while we were waiting. And it just happened, Mother. We just fell in love. You don't believe it?
Oh, I believe it, Barney.
Yes, we both knew it. And there just didn't seem to be any question about our getting married. I would have asked you to fly over, Mother, but time suddenly seemed so precious. We didn't have a minute to waste.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how happy we are.
Oh, now, don't even try. It's just...
Just what?
Well, it's just, this is so unlike you. The fact is, you don't even know this girl.
Well, I do know her,
But you don't know her parents, her background. You don't know anything about her.
I know everything.
Well, for instance, where was she going when your two cars collided?
I never asked her.
Uh-huh. That's what I mean.
Well, I know everything I want to know, Mother.
It's certainly not the way you do business.
This isn't business, Mom. This is love.
I never thought I'd hear you talk like that.
Well, the same rules don't apply. In love, all you've got to go on is your heart. You can't trust that when you're in trouble, I guess.
Well, Barney, look, I am all for it, and I'm all for Rachel. And when can I finally see her?
Right now, Mother. You're having dinner with us.
But I want to know everything about you, Rachel.
Oh, it isn't possible to know everything about anyone, even oneself.
Are you English?
No.
Oh, well, where were you raised?
It was a very unhappy time. I never think about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are your parents alive?
I have none.
Oh. Well, what happened?
They were killed.
Oh. Was it an accident?
No.
Oh, please forgive me. I'm not trying to pry. I'm just curious, and it's a natural curiosity.
Of course.
Oh. What a perfectly magnificent ring.
I had to buy it in a hurry, Mother.
I think it's much too large.
Angel, that is a diamond.
I wear it because it makes Barney happy.
Well, I don't think I have ever seen him so happy in his life.
It's so easy to make Barney happy. A pity he had to wait so long.
Well, my dear, I think you're worth the wait. Now, time I was homeward bound.
Oh, Mother, must you go? It's so early.
Oh, but when you're a guest of a newlywed couple, that's when your welcome wears out. Early. Rachel, dear, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Call me Mother.
Mother.
Listen, why don't you two girls get together, go shopping, have lunch and things?
Oh, don't worry, Barney. We'll arrange for all that. I'll call you tomorrow, Rachel.
Goodbye, Mother.
Well, I'll see you to the door, Mother. Well, Mom, what do you think?
Oh, Barney. She is just wonderful.
Rachel.
Yes?
Aren't you asleep?
What
is it, honey?
It's nothing.
Oh, no, it is something.
Oh, Barney. I didn't know people could be so happy.
There's nothing to it. Just fall in love.
Barney, now that I know what love is, I want to live.
Rachel, what are you saying?
I want to live.
Of course you're going to live. I mean, why shouldn't you?
You're so strong. You're so sure of yourself. You fear nothing and no one. Oh, darling, don't let anything happen to me.
What are you saying?
Just hold me. Hold me as if it's the very last time.
Darling, what are you saying?
Life is so beautiful. I just want to live.
Well, you will. Believe me.
Yes, my darling. I believe you.
Rachel. Won't you tell me what you're talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just frightened.
Of what? Of what?
When you want something so badly, you become scared.
But you don't have to be scared of anything.
I never really wanted to live until I met you.
Well, why? How could anybody not want to live?
Oh, there are times when life can be a terrible thing, and death is only...
No, now. We're not going to have any more of that kind of talk. Promise.
Yes. Oh, Barney, I promise.
Barney, what a surprise.
Hello, Mother.
Would you like something to eat or drink?
No, I didn't come here for that.
Well, of course not, but every mother has to ask that question. It's part of the franchise.
Mom, I'm worried.
Why?
Well, it has to do with,
Rachel.
How did you know?
I'm worried, too.
Oh, why are you worried?
It's something in her eyes.
What?
I don't know.
Yes, I see something in her eyes, too, Mother. Something that scares me, and I don't know what it is, either.
I think it's a look of fear.
Well, what can she be afraid of?
We don't know. Actually, we don't know anything about Rachel. We love her, but we know nothing about her.
Mom, Rachel is afraid of dying.
Is she ill?
Oh, the best doctors in the country can find nothing wrong with her. But I think I know what it is.
What are you saying, Barney?
You've heard of people who died of grief.
Of course.
Well, why can't people also die of happiness?
Barney.
Mom, Rachel is dying. Something's killing her.
Barney, don't say that.
Mom.
I'd better answer that. Hello?
Mother.
Oh, Rachel, dear.
What?
How are you?
Mother, is Barney there?
Yes, dear. I'll come on. Barney.
Yes, thank you. Rachel.
Barney, please, come home quickly. Quickly.
Barney.
Darling, why didn't you call the doctor?
Because...
Well, I'll phone him this minute.
No, please. Just hold me.
But, Rachel...
Don't leave me. Don't leave me for anything.
Rachel, you need to be...
No, I have everything I need, everything I want. Right here, right now. Oh, darling, I want to live so badly.
Well, you will.
Don't let me go. Don't let me go there, Barney. To that place.
Please. Please, Rachel, don't talk like that.
If I let go, bring me back.
Oh, Rachel.
You're so strong, you can do anything. You can do anything.
Rachel.
Promise. You'll bring me back.
But, Rachel.
Promise.
Well, I...
You're different from other people. Barney, you're wonderful. I know there are things you can do. Oh, Barney, promise.
Well, I promise.
And I'll help. I'll try as hard as I can to help. And the two together, we can do it. We can bring me back.
Rachel.
Your mother is here, sir.
Tell her I'll see her later.
Dr. Mallory.
Send Dr. Mallory away.
He offered to make the arrangements, sir.
Arrangements?
For the funeral.
I'll make the arrangements myself. That's all, Winters.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Winters.
Yes, sir.
What are we having for dinner?
Oh, I didn't think. I can prepare some sandwiches, sir.
Oh, no. Mrs. Kruger doesn't like sandwiches. Do we have any lamb chops?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll have mine rare, as usual, and Mrs. Kruger likes hers medium.
Oh, no, sir. Your mother likes hers well done.
I'm not talking about my mother. I'm talking about my wife.
Your wife?
As you know, Winters, there's an exact science to making chops medium. She likes them exactly between rare and well done.
But Mrs. Kruger is,
Yes, Winters. Mrs. Kruger is what?
Nothing, sir. Nothing at all.
There may be an exact science to broiling lamb chops, but you must admit there's a fine art to being a rich man's butler. And so Winters departs to instruct the cook to prepare a very special dinner. A dinner for 2 people, one of whom is alive, the other, and we'll be back after dessert when I return with Act 2. Death is always the final answer, and death always has the last word. But not for Barney Kruger. Rachel there's absolutely no question about that. But evidently Barney Kruger will not accept it. Before you dismiss Barney Kruger as a psychotic or a kook, remember, this is the same Barney Kruger whose reputation for hard-headed practicality is respected throughout the business community.
Mrs. Kruger.
Yes, Winters. Is my son...
I don't know what to say, Mrs. Kruger. He ordered dinner for himself and for
whom?
For her.
What are you saying, Winters?
Mrs. Kruger, I'm very much aware of what I'm saying.
But surely he knows.
Yes, ma'am, he knows. But still, he ordered...
I see.
Oh, I'm not sure of what to do. I was wondering if you had a suggestion.
Yes, Winters. Serve the dinner. Barney?
Come in, Mother. Sit down.
Have you had anything to eat?
Oh, yes. Mother. Everything's fine.
Winters told me...
Do you want to look at Rachel, Mother? She's even more beautiful than
Yes, Barney. Now, we have to make certain arrangements.
You know that, don't you?
You know, she came into my life so suddenly, Mother. And so, suddenly, she left it.
Barney.
I can't believe that. I won't believe it.
Barney. The ring.
No, I won't believe it.
You really don't intend to bury her with the ring.
Bury her?
Well, yes, Barney. We have to make arrangements. We
won't do any such thing. We'll bury her ourselves.
Barney.
No one must ever touch her, Mother, except the people who love her. Will you help me?
Well,
just the two of us. We'll see Rachel to her grave.
Barney, now you really shouldn't bury her with a ring.
Why not?
Because the ring is worth that diamond is worth
Yes, I know. Rachel said it herself. It's worth the Queen's ransom.
Well, it may sound rather hard and unfeeling, but what can that ring mean to her now?
Oh, everything, Mother.
But I don't think...
It means that I believe she's still my wife.
Yes, of course.
It means I haven't given up hope.
Hope? Of what?
Well, as long as she wears that ring, we can...
Can what?
We can bring her back.
Bring her back?
Yes, Mother, bring her back.
Barney, the age of miracles is past.
Oh, no, it hasn't. It's still here.
Barney.
You want to see a miracle? You want to see one? Come here.
Barney.
No, Mom, I mean that. Come here.
Where?
Just look. Look in that mirror.
Well, why do you want me to look in the mirror?
So you can see a miracle.
I don't think...
You are the miracle, Mother.
What are you...
What did it say about you in the Sunday paper, Mom?
I don't remember.
Well, I remember. I memorized it. I was so proud of it. Mrs. Elwood Kruger, the acknowledged social leader of the city, stunningly attractive, impeccably groomed, was hostess at the reception for the senator.
Barney, darling, look, I don't...
You don't what, Mother? You don't remember? You don't remember how it was when I was a little kid? You don't remember that my father was a hopeless drunk?
Barney...
And how you washed dishes in an all-night hash joint so you could support the three of us? And when he died in a charity ward, you were thankful because it meant one less mouth to feed.
Barney, why
I looked at you, Ma, every day. You were ready to drop from exhaustion, and I said, I'm going to make a great lady out of my mother. And when I was 5 years old, I started selling paper.
Barney, this is not what we're...
It is, Mom. It is what we're talking about. Who were you, Ma? What were you? You were just a poor girl with no education, no training. Look at what I made possible.
I realize, Barney, I
Just
know.
look in the mirror. Look at you now. Stunning, socially prominent Mrs. Elwood Kruger. You eat lunch with senators. You've had dinner at the White House. Now look in the mirror and tell me what you see.
A miracle.
Winters.
Yes, sir?
It's very cold in here.
But, Mr. Kruger, the thermostat is way up.
Well, Mrs. Kruger is feeling chilled.
Mrs. Kruger?
Yes, and, bring her some of that brandy I brought back from Paris.
Sir, may I say something?
What?
Well, there's no other way to say it than to say it. Sir, Mrs. Kruger isn't here.
I'm aware of that, Winters.
You buried... Her funeral was this afternoon.
Yes.
Then you have to admit...
What? What do I have to admit?
You have to admit she's...
Yes, Winters. She's for now.
For now?
Yes, for now. Winters, I'd like to ask you something.
Yes, sir.
I need a man to work for me without asking a lot of questions, who believes in what I tell him. A man who's with me. Do you follow this?
Yes, sir.
Till now, that man has been you, Winters.
Yes, sir.
So, my question. Is that man still you?
Yes, sir. That man is still me.
Well, you have to believe with me, Winters. Understand?
I think so, sir.
Fine. Bring Mrs. Kruger her brandy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Will Mrs. Kruger want anything else?
I don't think so.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again. Rachel, I want to help you. I'm trying as hard as I can. Rachel,
Rachel. I'm very much concerned, Mr. Kruger. Mr. Kruger?
About what, Carlson?
Well, the amount of our investment, we're dipping very deeply into reserve capital.
Well, that's what reserve capital's for, isn't it? That's why we're getting on a plane for Chicago to see if we,
Yes, go on. So we're going to Chicago to see if...
Don't talk. No, I guess I'm hearing things.
Well, now I have all the information you need about Henley.
Henley? What do you mean, Henley? How did you know about Henley?
How do I know? Mr. Kruger. That's why we're going to Chicago to acquire Jason Henley and Company.
Oh, yes, Henley. Rachel? Rachel? Where are you?
Mr. Kruger, who are you looking for?
I'll see you later.
But our plane leaves for Chicago.
She was just here. She can't have gone far.
Mr. Kruger, we have to get on that plane.
You get on the plane. You go.
But you're the one that has to examine the assets.
Well, you do it, Carlson.
But you have to make a decision by tonight.
You make the decision. You go there, and you make it.
Mr. Kruger, where are you going? Mr. Kruger, what happened? You look exhausted.
Yeah, I guess I am, Willis. I thought I heard the... I ran. Willis, I ran around for hours trying. I know why. It's because this would have been our anniversary, our first anniversary.
Yes, sir, I know that, sir. I took the liberty of opening this bottle of champagne, and, I brought 2 glasses.
Oh, thank you, Willis, thank you.
Good night, sir.
Yes. I thought I did it, Rachel. I thought I did it today. I thought I brought you back. I thought I hurt you. But I'll keep trying. I'll keep trying. I'll never stop trying, Rachel. Oh, Rachel. Rachel, I can see it so clearly that day. That crazy day I ran into you. And you were so frightened at first. You were so scared. It was all I could do to get you to tell me your name. I kept asking, what's your name? What's your name? And you just kept staring at me. And your eyes were so big. And finally, you said...
My name is Rachel.
Rachel. That's a very pretty name.
What's yours?
Barney.
Barney. I like the sound of that.
I'm sorry about the car.
Oh, I don't mind. I never liked this car anyhow.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Rachel. I'll have it fixed. No, I won't have it fixed. I'll buy you a new one.
Are you that rich?
Oh, I'm fabulously wealthy. But don't hold it against me.
You know, you really are a very nice person.
How can you tell?
I learned how to recognize good people. It was very important for me to know that at one time.
Rachel, do you want to hear something crazy?
Nothing is really crazy when you think about it for a while.
No. This is the wildest thing you'll ever hear.
What is it?
Here I am, an American, driving through a place called Henley, just outside of London. I hit a car some girl is driving, and we stopped to talk. And 10 minutes later, I found out I'm in love with this girl. All I know about her is her name. Her name, Rachel. Now go ahead, tell me I'm not crazy.
Perhaps we're both crazy. All I know about you is your name, Barney. And I love you.
Rachel, you're here.
I'm here.
It's you. It's really you. It's not my imagination.
Put your arms around me, darling.
And the ring, your wedding ring. You're wearing the ring.
Oh.
You couldn't be wearing the ring if it weren't really you, Rachel.
Oh, Barney, you did it. You brought me back.
Yes, you're back. You're back. That's all I have to know. You're back.
all shows what can happen when you're in the habit of saying no. But is she back? Is it possible? You remember the story of Orpheus? He went to the land of the to reclaim his lost bride. He almost succeeded, too. However, there was a little detail he forgot about. I won't forget to return shortly with Act 3. It's part of the culture of our country. We raise the kids on slogans like, never say die, don't give up the ship. And when threatened with annihilation by a numerically superior enemy, didn't an American general earn immortality by simply answering, nuts? Barney Kruger took it all seriously. He believed he could attain any goal he set out to reach. He's even brought his wife back from the...
Barney, I knew you would do it for me. I knew you would do it.
Oh, Rachel, I can hardly believe it.
Everything in the room. It's exactly the same. Exactly.
Yes, I didn't touch anything. Nobody touched anything. Everything is here, you see?
Just as I left it.
Yes, your clothes, all your things. Even the book you were reading, darling.
Oh.
Look, it's still open to the same page.
That's why I could come back, Barney, because everything that's in me is here.
Oh, you were never gone, Rachel, never.
Keep me here, Barney. Keep me here.
Yes, I will. I just wish I knew how.
But you know how. You know.
Hey, excuse me, sir. I thought I heard you talking
Withers.
here.
Withers, look. It's Kruger. See, dear, it's Withers. You always liked Withers. Isn't that just great, Withers? She's back.
Yes, sir.
Barney.
Mom.
Well, it's a sensational surprise.
I hope you're hungry.
Oh, of course I am. Am I late for lunch?
Oh, you'll remember this lunch as long as you live.
I see the table's set for 3. Who's your guest?
Oh, no guest. Mom, it's all family.
Family?
Mom, I had a problem.
Oh. Are you asking me to help?
Yes.
Well?
Well, I didn't realize how complicated a thing like this would be. You see, after all, legally, she is, and what?
And
there was a death certificate, a burial, and, well, how can I account for the fact...
Barney, what are you trying to say?
Mom, how do I, reintroduce her into the world?
Barney, are you all right?
Mom, she's back.
Who?
Who do you think? Rachel.
Barney.
I did it, Mom. I did it. I made the miracle. I made it happen.
No, Barney.
Wait. Just wait. You'll see with your own eyes. Now, wait.
Now, Barney, please.
Wait, Mom. Wait. Rachel, Mother's here. It's time for lunch. Well, Mother? Mom, come on now. I know it's a shock, but here she is.
Here? Who is?
Rachel. Well, can't you say anything?
Barney.
You mean you can just stand there and not do anything, Mother?
Barney, I don't know what.
Well, a normal person would put her arms around...
Barney.
Please, Mother. You claim you don't see Rachel?
Barney, my son.
Now, just a minute. Withers, come in here.
Barney, let me call.
Wait, Mother. Withers.
Yes, sir.
Withers, how many people are here in this room?
How many people, sir?
Yes, you heard me. There's you, my mother, myself, and my wife.
Ah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That'll be all, Winters.
Yes, sir.
Well?
That man worships you, Barney. He'd lay down his life for you. He'd swear on the Bible.
What do you say now?
I say that Winters is wrong to help you perpetuate this fantasy.
Oh, is that what it is?
Barney, please let me call...
A doctor, huh? Naturally.
But what else?
You say you don't see Rachel.
Rachel
I didn't ask you that. I asked you if you see Rachel.
No, Barney, I don't see Rachel.
I believe you.
Well, then...
You don't see any woman as a part of my life,
Oh,
Mother.
Barney.
You know, it's a funny thing, Ma, now that I look back on it. You never really wanted me to get married.
No.
Oh, sure, you always said so. And you encouraged me to meet this one or that one or the other one. But that was just the paint on the top, Mom. Somehow or other, you'd always tout me off at the last minute.
Now, Barney, why would
Because you wanted me all for yourself.
Barney!
Papa's been 5 years. You never went out with another guy once.
Oh,
Why?
Barney,
Even today, hundreds of men, guys who are really up there, too, they all go for you, Mother. How come you never even look at anybody?
Barney, this is not the time.
You wanted me all to yourself, and you still want it that way. That's why you don't see Rachel.
But he is not...
Rachel, say hello to Mother.
Hello, Mom.
She's not here, huh? Who just spoke? Who's standing right next to me?
Barney, what do you want me to say? It isn't as if you were a little boy and we can play little games together.
I'm not. You're a little boy anymore, Mother. I'm on my own. And there's another woman in my life.
Barney, please. I want you to face reality.
Mom, she's not throwing you out. She's not taking your place. She's what another part of me needs. Now, please, Mom, just take her in your arms, huh? And tell her she's welcome. She's your daughter. What do you want, Carlson?
This is the first time you've been to the office, and
That's all.
I've had to make a lot of judgments.
Well, that's what you get paid for.
But if I'm wrong, we can go broke.
Oh, come on now. Lay everything on the table, and I'll straighten it out.
Well, the Midwest merger.
The Midwest merger? Well, I'll tell you what I've decided. I've been juggling all the facts, and now that I think about it...
Yes?
Now that I think about it, just a minute.
Now, the option expires this afternoon. We really have to move quickly.
Just a minute, please.
Darling.
Hello.
I miss you, Barney.
Yes, I miss you, too.
I need you to keep me here. Don't stay away from me, Barney.
No, I won't.
I need all of your faith, all of your strength, all of your will.
Darling, you've got it.
I need you to hold me, Barney. Hold me.
Yes.
Hurry back to me, darling. Hurry, before I slip away again.
No, don't do that. I'll be right there.
Hurry, Barney. Hurry.
I'll see you, Carson.
Where are you going?
I have an important date.
Mr. Kruger, we are going broke. Can't you understand? I need $500,000 to cover an option this afternoon. We don't have...
Well, don't bother me with details.
And unless you raise another $500,000 by Wednesday morning...
All right, I'll raise it.
But I
Is
don't
there
see
anything
where
else?
you can raise...
Just leave it to me, please. Now, I'm going home, and I don't want anybody to disturb me.
Barney, do you ever get tired of me? After the life you led before?
Now, what kind of life did I lead before?
Well, you went everywhere.
Well, we go everywhere, the two of us. Even if we never leave the house, we sit here together and...
Oh, Barney, I hope I'm enough for you.
No. We don't need that kind of talk.
Because I'll have to be enough for you. I'll need you with me all the time.
Tell my son I wish to see him, Winters.
I am sorry, ma'am, but he refuses to see anyone.
Now, don't you take that tone with me. I'm his mother.
I said I was sorry, ma'am. I'll have to ask you to leave.
You will have to throw me out.
And what's... Oh. That'll be all, Willis.
Yes.
Barney, I must talk to you.
What's there to talk about?
Barney, this newspaper. Read it.
I don't care about any...
Just read it.
The incredible collapse of the Kruger Enterprises. The disappearance of Barney Kruger from the command post is the possible cause
You see, you're broke. You don't have money to throw around anymore. You know, if you had that ring right now...
Now, Mother, I don't want to hear any more.
If you had that ring, you could hold off some creditors, buy some time.
Will you let me alone?
The world won't let you alone. Now, you won't be able to keep this house.
Mother, I don't want to hear any more.
Don't you say that you don't care. This is a conceit of yours. But it takes money to maintain
Mother,
it.
I think you've said enough. Now, do you want to say hello to Rachel before you leave?
Barney, there is no Rachel. You and I saw her placed in her grave. Rachel is...
No! Rachel's right here.
Oh, Barney. please let it be over. Whatever it is or was that raged through you like a fever, let it be over. Come back into the world. Come back where you belong.
No, I belong with Rachel. Goodbye, Mother.
Oh, you're like your father. He was a man who was intoxicated by liquor and it destroyed him. And you're intoxicated by Rachel.
Mother.
By a Rachel, and she will destroy you, too.
I won't hear any more.
Barney, hold me.
I can't be broke. I can't be.
Hold me, Barney.
You know, I'm crazy. I must be going crazy.
Hold me, Barney. Kiss me.
What? Hold you?
Hold me.
But Rachel.
But what, Barney? Hold me. I need all of you to hold me. Put your arms around me.
But Rachel, you're
I'm what, Barney?
You're...
What did you say?
You're...
Oh... Yes. Now I'm dead.
But if you're dead, why do I see you so clearly?
Because all of your strength hasn't left me yet. It's going, and soon I won't.
Rachel. Rachel, are you here?
No, Barney, you couldn't keep me here. You weren't strong enough. You don't want me badly enough.
Rachel, you're becoming dim, Rachel.
I'm no longer your wife. Here, your ring.
No.
Take your ring.
No. I don't want that. I don't want it.
You didn't believe the miracle.
Rachel, don't go. I don't go. I believe, Rachel. I do believe.
Goodbye, Barney. Goodbye.
Rachel? Rachel?
Barney.
Mother, she was here. She was here. She's been here in this room all the time.
Barney, sit down. Now, have Winter get you something.
No, she was here, Mother. You know.
Barney?
You know she was here.
It's time that we face certain facts. Now, you know that Rachel has... Barney. Look. What's that lying on the floor?
Well, Mother. It's the ring.
And there it was, gleaming on the floor. A huge diamond ring. The gift of Barney to Rachel. The ring that was buried with her when she died. And you can believe that she returned to the grave and left the ring to release him from their marriage vow. You can believe that. But if you're one of those practical 2 + 2 must equal 4 people, we have another alternative. I'll be back shortly. Did Rachel come back from and leave the ring? An explanation that might satisfy some of the more literal-minded among us is that, realizing how strapped he was becoming financially, Barney may have paid a visit to the grave and removed it himself. After all, it was his ring. It goes to prove that we have a denouement to satisfy every taste. Our cast included Larry Haynes, Joan Loring, Ann Petoniak, and Leon Janney. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
Well, it's our thinking that's wrong. That's what Mildred said. So when she had a pain, she changed her thinking.
Sounds so simple.
For her it was.
Matthew, I want your permission to do an autopsy on your wife.
An autopsy?
Yeah. I want to have her body exhumed and do an autopsy.
Well, will they let you do that?
With your permission. I think I can get her father's.
Yes, but what excuse will you give?
Oh, that there's a possibility she was, well, maybe ill, maybe incapacitated before the truck hit her, something like that. Do I have your permission, Matthew?
Well, Hester, should I say yes?
Well, I think you should. But look at it this way. It'll be the first autopsy ever performed on a known witch.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Radio 78 WBBM Chicago. The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Voodoo is a word to conjure with, and conjure is the right word, because the high priest of voodooism was called a conjure man. It was he to whom the practitioners of voodoo turned when they wanted spells cast or lifted, enemies punished, or love affairs promoted. As voodoo spread northward from the island of Haiti to the Americas, and particularly to New Orleans, it should be noted that its most powerful conjurers were women.
Dambalaude, all-powerful one, see your knife, the sacred knife of our ancient gods. See, Dambala, the knife has drawn blood, and you, Dambala, you will now have another soul. Oh, Dambala, look with mercy and kindness upon this servant who will continue to serve you faithfully, now and forever.
Our mystery drama, The House of the Voodoo Queen, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Murray Burnett and stars Jordan Charney and Joan Loring. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
If you take a look at the 1975 cars, you'll notice a European influence. And there are some new American cars that rival the Europeans, one being Buick's new Skylark SR, with its touring car interior and spirited little V6 engine. But don't think of the Skylark SR as a European tourer. We're proud of the fact that it's a Buick. You will be, too.
Buick, dedicated to the free spirit in just about everyone.
In God we trust. America speaks. George Washington remarked during the Constitutional Convention, "Let us raise a standard to which the wise and honest can repair. The event is in the hands of God." Presented by the Catholic Communications Foundation. Looking for some last-minute Christmas gift ideas? We've got some great ones at Lafayette Radio Electronics, like a Lafayette portable cassette recorder with built-in condenser microphone for only $24.95. A Lafayette component-style phono system for just $29.95. Or how about a good-looking AM/FM digital clock radio for a low $19.95? You just can't go wrong with Lafayette's famous quality and prices like these. Come in and see for yourself. Don't wait too long before the special sale ends on December 24th. For more details, see our ads on Thursday and Sunday in your local newspaper. Lafayette, welcome.
pictured in our imagination the perfect dream house. The castle in Spain, or the little cottage on the mountaintop overlooking that blue lake in the green valley. But few of us are ever fortunate enough to have our dream come true. Douglas and Helen Fenton were two young people who had that good fortune. And as we first meet them, they're having the happy experience of being shown through their perfect house in New Orleans, which they've acquired through the death of an uncle Douglas Fenton never knew existed.
And this was used as a music room in the old days.
Oh, I can just see it. Can't you, Doug?
It's a beautiful room. Nice and sunny. I think I have given you a thorough tour of your new home. And unless you have any questions, I should be getting back to the office.
I promise you'll be our first dinner guest. Won't he, Doug?
Oh, you bet. There are still a lot of questions I have about Uncle Timmy that I'll want answered. I am at your service. Good day, and good luck, and good health. Don't bother, Mr. Fenton. I know the way out.
Oh, Doug, I'm so happy. I just love this house. Wait till you see what I do with it. What was that?
The movers?
Don't be silly, darling. They left hours ago. Remember?
Probably something fell.
Didn't sound like something falling. Who's that? Oh, Doug. I'm so glad you're home.
How did it go today, darling? Any better?
I really can't tell you, Doug, because I'm so ashamed. Well, I didn't stay home. I guess I'm just a big coward.
Oh, don't be silly. Anyone would be frightened by what goes on in this place.
Oh, Doug. Oh, what are we going to do?
I told you. We'll sell the house and find another.
Did you reach Mr. Lamore?
No luck. When I called, he was out. And when he called me back, I was in a meeting and couldn't take the call, but he promised to... Oh, that must be him now. Hello?
Mr. Fenton, Lemur's here. Sorry we missed connections all day. What can I do for you?
Mr. Lemurs, I don't know how to tell you this, but, well, Helen and I think the house is haunted.
If you don't like the house, you can always put it on the market.
We love the house. That is, we thought we loved it. Well, you can't live in a house where all night long you hear screams and chain rattlings and during the day thumpings and, well, there's an odor, an indescribable odor of rot and decay that sweeps through the house from time to time. It's here now, as a matter of fact. And we wanted to know if you had any complaints.
The house has been empty for years.
Well, maybe that's the reason. Have you heard anything about the house being haunted?
You're serious?
Of course.
Then I can only tell you that feeling the way you do, you shouldn't stay in the house. I'll give you the names of some real estate agents who might be willing to handle it.
Well, have a seat, Mrs. Fenton. Tell me how I can help you.
Well, we have a house we'd like to put on the market.
Well, of course. Would you give me the location?
It's in an old neighborhood. 66 Delacorte Street.
Yes, I know the house. I thought it was vacant.
Well, we just moved in. My husband's uncle left in the house, and we decided to move to New Orleans and live here.
Miss Fenton, I'll be honest with you. The house has a bad reputation.
I don't understand.
I think you do. Any honest real estate agent would have to warn a prospective buyer that there are definite problems connected with your house.
Of course. I understand that.
Well, then you also understand I'd have to offer the house way below the market value.
How far below?
I don't think I could ask more than $20,000. $20,000.
20,000? My husband and I wouldn't be interested at that figure. Thank you for your time.
Oh, not at all. If you change your mind, you know where to find me. Now, how can a pretty girl look so unhappy after a dinner like this?
When the girl is thinking of going home to a house that scares her and that no real estate agent wants to handle.
Relax. Look, we'll put an ad in all the papers and sell it ourselves. You know, it might be better that way. We save a commission.
Oh, darling. That's why I love you. You take such a big load off my shoulders and make everything seem so easy.
Oh, isn't that what husbands are for?
I can think of a few other uses.
And that's one reason why I love you.
When are we going to put the ads in?
First thing tomorrow.
Doug. Wake up.
What?
Doug. Did you leave our faucet on?
What?
The water. Don't you hear it?
Yes, I hear it. Did you check the bathroom?
I was afraid to. Anyway, it certainly doesn't sound as if it's coming from the bathroom.
No, it seems to be right over the bed.
Ow! I can't stand it, Doug. Can't you do something?
I don't know what to... Tell it to go away, whatever it is. Do you think that would work?
We should call the police.
Oh, I would. I would if I felt they could help. Whatever it is hasn't hurt us, only annoyed us. So I think maybe if we show we're not bothered, the noises and the smells will stop.
I don't think I can do that, Doug.
Yeah, I know. That's why we put the ads in the papers.
Doug, hold me. Hold me close. What's that?
Look, it's ghosts. They've come to the front door.
But who could come at this time of night?
You talk as if it were 3 in the morning. It's only 10:30, and this is a late town. Well, I suppose I'd better see who it is.
I'll come with you.
Be right with you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I never dreamed I'd be waking you. I'll come back some other time. Oh, no. We weren't asleep. Come on in. Come in. Well, it was the advertisement in the Picayune. The house is for sale. Oh, yes, it is.
I'm Doug Fenton, and this is my wife, Helen.
I'm Zoe Lemaitre. You're interested in the house? I am.
Are you married?
No. I'm quite alone.
But this is a large house. The ad described how many...
Darling, I'm sure Miss Lemaitre knows how large the house is. She's interested. I know the house is large, but I'm hooked on antiquities. I think before we actually get down to business, I should tell you. I know all about the reputation this house has in this city. You do? I do.
And you still want to buy it?
If I can afford it. And I think that the only way you're going to dispose of it is to sell it very cheaply.
Miss Lemaitre, just how cheaply are you thinking? Or aren't you prepared to make an offer?
Oh, I'm not only prepared. I brought this certified check along.
You've made up your mind.
Here it is.
Oh, wow.
Massey? $7,800. That's just a fair offer, considering the reputation of the house. Doug Fenton.
Miss Lemaitre?
Are you too angry with me to join me in a café suite?
It's my wife who's angry.
Oh.
I never can stay mad at girls as pretty as you.
Thank you. Do you find me fascinating, Mr. Fenton?
Completely. I trust I have the same effect on you.
Oh, it's not you who interests me. It's your house.
Why?
I can't tell you.
Everyone in this town seems to know what's wrong with my house except Helen and me.
They know there's something wrong. That's all they know.
Oh, and you know more, beautiful Zoe. Ah, yes. Behind those beautiful green eyes lies secret.
And your attitude is one reason why I can't tell you. You wouldn't believe me anyway.
Try me.
All right. The house you're living in doesn't really belong to you.
I have a deed that says it does.
That house was stolen from the daughter of Marie Laveau.
Marie Laveau? Who's she?
The most powerful Bokor in the history of voodoo. The beautiful black woman who ruled as the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans for half a century. You, Douglas Fenton, are living in the house of the Voodoo Queen. And she wants you out.
When a landlord wants to evict a tenant, the tenant can always take his case to court. But when the fanciful notion is advanced that the landlord is really a voodoo queen who lived back in the 19th century, that tenant has a problem. I'll be back shortly with a terrifying solution found by Doug Fenton in Act 2.
Ever see a beer drinker pour his beer real easy down the side of the glass? Maybe you do it yourself. If so, the Budweiser brewmaster thinks you're missing something, especially if you're a Budweiser drinker. You see, Bud is brewed, so it will kick up a healthy head of foam. Exclusive beechwood aging and natural carbonation make it a lively brew. Well, anyway, pouring Bud plunk down the middle of the glass helps bring out the best in that clean white Budweiser foam and real beer aroma. It also helps you get the full benefit of a taste, smoothness, and drinkability you'll find in no other beer at any price. Remember, brewing beer right does make a difference. Next time, pour that Budweiser right down the middle and see for yourself. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Spencer's just received men's suits from 3 fine Chicago stores. These brands are included: 3G's, Eagle, Petrocelli, Hart Schaffner, Marks, and Worsted Tex. They are ticketed from $69.95 to $120. We are offering them at $17.99, none or higher. The total garments now at Spencer's is over $6,700, and it includes $39.95 to $120 men's suits, sport coats, simulated leather and man-made fur coats, zip-lined and all-weather coats, heavy parkas and overcoats, worth $39.95 to $120, now only $17.99. None higher. No salesman will raise you up. You cannot pay more than $17.99. Often stores advertise certain items, and when you arrive at the store, you are shown a few at the advertised price and are told that you would be better pleased if you spent twice the amount to take a better garment. At Spencer's, every garment is $17.99. No salesman will raise you up. Spencer's, 322 North Michigan Avenue, Chicago. For suburban stores, phone 263-4700. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. all next week. Voodoo is an African religion which has been variously described and downgraded by such descriptive phrases as black magic, mumbo-jumbo, or a mess of meaningless ritualistic incantations practiced and believed in only by the ignorant and superstitious. Nevertheless, it survives. Douglas Fenton has been told that voodoo presents a very real and serious threat to his living in a house he inherited in New Orleans. But Douglas Fenton is a skeptic. You're too much, Zoe.
Oh?
But you must really think I'm the biggest sucker you ever saw if you expect me to sell you a $60,000 house for $7,800 because of some crazy story about a Voodoo Queen. Wait, where are you going?
Before I called you ignorant. Now I know you're a fool. And I don't like fools.
Sit down.
Go home, Douglas. Go home to your pretty, silly wife. And the two of you can sit and laugh at Marie Laveau. But in the night when your blood runs cold and a nameless terror shakes your bones, remember me. And if you can, remember to call on the cochon gris. And pray they show you mercy.
Hey, you think this stuff is for real, don't you?
I was born in New Orleans, as were my mother and grandmother. We know the power of the cochon gris.
If I apologize, will you sit down?
I will sit. But it's useless. You will still disbelieve.
Can you blame me? I'm a product of the 20th century. You tell me a pretty wild story and mention things I've never even heard of. Like this cochon gris.
The cochon gris are an ancient society of voodoo priests.
And what's your connection with them?
They asked me for a favor. It's not wise to oppose them.
And the favor was to buy my house, huh? Well, why? Why do they want it?
Because it was the home of Marie Laveau. Because it really belongs to her, and they want it as a shrine. And their headquarters. What are you doing at this cafe this afternoon? What took you out of your office?
No, a problem. I've always found that a walk and some fresh air helps me.
Huh. Don't you find it strange that your walk should lead to the back streets and this particular cafe?
I wanted to get away from crowds.
And how was it that I happened to be here?
Well, you can answer that better than I.
Yes, I can. Read this note. I received it at noon.
Cafe Lafitte, 3:30. Fenton will be there. Helen? Helen, darling? Helen, what's the matter?
Oh, Doc. Oh, so glad you're home. So glad. Look there on the floor.
What the devil is it?
What does it look like?
Like a chicken that has had its neck wrung.
That's what it is. I found it on our doorstep. Along with the chicken, I found this.
This looks like a child's drawing of some kind of snake.
No, not a child, Doug. Not a child. According to the police, these are voodoo symbols. Have you ever heard of voodoo?
Strange that you should mention that. I had a crash course earlier today.
What?
The girl who came here to buy our house, I ran into her today at a sidewalk cafe. She seemed to know a lot about it. She told me...
Yes?
No, it's not important. What did the police say?
Well, these were voodoo symbols, that they may be the work of a prankster, or it might be a believer. And someone who thinks voodoo magic actually works. Someone with a grudge against us.
The cochon gris. I hoped I'd find you here.
Why, Mr. Fenton, what a surprise.
Look, don't try to put me on. You probably have a piece of paper on you somewhere that reads Cafe Lafitte, 822. Fenton will be there.
You're really rather charming, you know, Doug.
Well, I try. Particularly when someone looks like you. I've never met a girl who even came close to you in looks. I think you've bewitched me.
Of course. But what have you done to me? Put a love spell on me.
I think you're trying to tell me something.
And if I am?
We should find a more private place.
I shouldn't tell you this. Oh, Doug, darling, I never felt like this before in my life. Never with anyone.
Oh, you're a beautiful liar. But I love to hear it.
I mean it, Doc.
Oh, you're an astonishing girl. Really? We've been here for 2 hours, and you've never once mentioned my wife.
Oh. Should I have?
Let's just say it's unusual.
Oh. You're an experienced adulterer.
Ouch. Now, why did I bring her name up?
I don't know.
I do. It's because I'm worried about the things she finds on our doorstep.
What sort of things?
Well, a chicken with its neck wrung. A piece of cardboard with a crudely drawn snake. Oh, yes, that means something to you, doesn't it?
Spells. They're put in or near people's houses for a purpose.
And they mean something.
Of course.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
You should be. The chicken with its neck wrung means death.
Helen, are you all right?
Yes, Doug, darling, I'm fine.
Oh. Well, how was today, huh? I mean,
Well, if you mean, were there any other little presents left on our doorstep? No.
Well, that's good news. Maybe they've stopped.
I won't complain. After all, you're home early tonight.
What does that mean?
Oh, nothing, really. It's just that you've been working so late at the office so often, and I realize that I'm not as attractive as I used to be, and also I guess I'm not much fun.
I hate to hear you talk like
and
that.
I hate to talk like that. Maybe I wouldn't if...
If what?
I know how attractive you are, and there are a lot of beautiful women in the world, and...
Oh, please, this isn't necessary, Helen.
I'm afraid it's very necessary. Will you stop seeing Zoe Lemaitre?
I'm as mad as anyone can get and still not commit murder. It's your associates. Those voodoo priests you tell me are called the cochon gris.
They're not my associates. Sometimes they ask me to do favors for them, and I know it's not wise to refuse.
Oh, they must really be grateful to you. They've rewarded you by telling Helen every time we met.
Oh.
Now tell them to lay off.
I won't.
You won't? What do you want to do, break us up?
You know better than that, Doug. It's just that I don't want to make a fool of myself. If I go to the cochon gris with this request, they will simply tell me what I've been telling you all along. If you wanted to stop, sell the house.
We would, gladly, if we could get anywhere near what it's worth.
What is it worth, really, Doug? You can't find a buyer who'll even make an offer except the cochon gris. And they think they're being very generous.
I won't be taken.
You inherited the house. Whatever you get is pure profit.
You really don't understand, do you?
I know that if you won't sell, then Helen will have to suffer.
Not if I stop seeing you.
That would be your choice.
And I'm making it. Right now. If you can let me walk away rather than ask a simple favor of people who owe you, then I'll walk.
Goodbye, my love. Have I told you it's nice having you home for dinners again?
You have?
You're bored with me.
No. With myself. And you're going to have me home a lot more from now on.
That's very good news.
I'm not so sure about that. I've lost my job.
You're kidding.
I wish I were. But they called me in yesterday with all sorts of excuses about cutbacks and economies and... Well, I'm out. I was the last man in, and now I'm the first man out.
Let's sell the house and get out of New Orleans? Oh, Doug, don't you see? It will be wonderful. We'll be starting all over again.
I'm back.
So I see.
May I come in?
What happened to your key?
I threw it away so I wouldn't be tempted to use it. But I couldn't stay away.
I'm glad.
Did you miss me?
Oh, Doug.
Oh, Zoe. Zoe, my love, my darling.
You don't know how much I missed hearing those words the last 2 weeks.
Now, well, I'm afraid you're going to miss them a lot more.
What?
I've lost my job, and Helen's asked me to sell the house and get away from this city. And, incidentally, you.
Oh.
She no longer cares how little we get for it. She's completely fed up.
And you, Doug?
Well, it's very tough to put up a decent argument for staying.
If you could, would you stay?
How can I stay without money?
If it's money that separates us, you don't have to say goodbye at all.
Excuse me, love. I didn't know I was talking to a wealthy plantation owner.
I only meant I might be able to get you all the money you want.
The only friends I know you have are the tightwad cochon gris who only want to pay $7,800 for a $60,000 house.
They've been known to put a higher price on other things.
Like what?
Souls.
You know, you're really too much with that voodoo business. If there were anything to it, which you know I don't believe for a minute, I'd have to be crazy to be willing to sell my soul.
I didn't mention your soul, did I?
I can't sell what I don't own, and as far as I know, I only have one soul.
There are others you can pledge. Other souls you can speak for.
Would you care to put a name to that soul?
Anyone near and dear to you.
Like Helen.
She would be one.
I don't know whether to laugh or just walk out of here.
I'd never hurt you.
Tell me, just what kind of a man do you think I am?
A man I can love.
Love? That word sounds very strange on your lips. The same lips that can talk about me selling my wife's soul.
Oh, go away. You're just like everyone else, crying about not having any money and not willing to pay the price for getting all you want, everything you want, including me.
Helen, what are you doing?
Packing. You can't seem to make up your mind, so I'm making it up for you. I told Mr. Vincent, the real estate agent, to take whatever he can for the house, and we're getting out. Tonight. Oh, I've been expecting you. There's a café filtre on the coffee table.
How did you know I'd come back?
Because I chose you. I couldn't make a mistake about the man I chose to love.
Well, when you stop patting yourself on the back, I'd better tell you that the only reason I'm back is because I don't believe any of this voodoo stuff. And that's why I'm willing to go along.
Of course.
And to prove it, I'm not going to make any deal where I have to shoot, stab, poison, or in any way do anything that's going to cause physical harm to Helen.
No one's going to ask that of you. All that's required is this knife and your blood.
If you're in love with a beautiful girl who practices voodoo and believes that a drop of your blood drawn from you by a sacred knife will bring you luck, why not? And from there, it's just a short step to making deals about souls. Yours and even others. Because after all, it doesn't really work. Or does it? I'll be back in a moment with Act 3. When you buy a mid-sized car, you expect certain things from it. Mainly, a reasonable combination of comfort and economy. Well, friend, Buick has a mid-size to meet your expectations.
The 1975 Century Regal. It's a joy to look at, a joy to ride in, and Buick's new V6 engine makes it a joy to drive, especially past gas stations.
Buick Century Regal, dedicated to the free spirit in just about everyone.
The blue whale is the biggest animal that ever lived. Bigger than 2 dinosaurs, heavier than 25 elephants. Today it's nearly extinct after years of relentless commercial hunting. Now other whales are in danger. For what? Some rare vitamin? Some precious serum? No. For margarine, pet food, shoe polish. What a way to go. Help save the whales we have left. Write National Audubon Society, 953rd Avenue, New York, New York.
Did you know that more children die from being hit by automobiles than from any other cause? 10,000 pedestrians and cyclists are killed, and another 500,000 are injured in our country every year. And most of these casualties happen to children, especially after dark. There is something to keep your children safer after dark. A safety kit of hot dots reflective stick-ons that give off a blast of light. Drivers can see them from 600 feet away. Protect your children at night and on dark school mornings. Stick hot dots on bicycles, clothing, books, lunch boxes. Get your hot dots kit free at Northwest Federal Savings, 1 block west of Cicero Avenue on Irving Park Road, or in Des Plaines on Dempster Street, just east of the Tri-State Tollway. But hurry, our supply is limited. A message from Northwest Federal Savings to help keep your children safer after dark.
This is WBBM, Chicago News Radio 78.
I think all of us feel some small twinges of apprehension when we sit in the doctor's office waiting for the injection we know we must have. But how do you describe the feelings of a young man sitting opposite a girl he adores, who is wielding a ceremonial knife preparatory to drawing some blood?
Zoe, my love, you're beautiful and an enchantress. But somehow you look different with that knife in your hand. May I see it?
Be careful. It's very sharp.
And heavy.
It's pure gold.
I don't suppose you could use something smaller than this. It really looks lethal.
I could use a lot of different things, but then this paper would be meaningless.
Well, it's blank.
At the moment. It won't be after you write your wife's name on it.
Well, before I do that, what am I supposed to get?
As much money as you need. Or want.
Oh, well, suppose I said I want $1 million.
The amount isn't important. Just trust me, and for 1 year, money will rain on your head in a golden shower.
And what happens after the year's up?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
What have I got to lose?
Nothing. But before you write your wife's name, you know, of course, what she is losing.
Yeah, I know. I'm pledging her immortal soul. How is she, Doctor?
I'm afraid I don't have very good news for you, Mr. Fenton.
Haven't you found out yet what's wrong?
The tests are inconclusive, and none of the medication we've been giving her seems to be able to help.
Well, what is it? Is it a bug or a virus?
We just don't know. She's been asking for you.
Helen? Helen? I'm here.
Oh, Doc. You didn't have any trouble getting away from the office?
I keep telling you, darling, I'm my own boss now. And if things keep going the way they are, I may even turn out to be a tycoon.
I'm dying, Doc.
Now, Helen, please, now, you mustn't even...
It's all right. You mustn't feel badly. The way things went since we came to New Orleans, I'm beginning to think that death might be the best thing for me.
Helen, I don't want you to talk that way.
Doug, I want you to promise me one thing. Just one thing, please.
Anything.
When I die...
Please, now, will you stop talking about dying?
Please, Doug, listen to me. You must get out of that house. Get rid of it. Promise me, Doug. You'll never set foot again in that horrible house. Oh, delicious. I do adore champagne.
Well, when are we going to make it all legal?
You mean with a wedding and everything like that?
Oh, and what a wedding. What a reception. And what a honeymoon. The biggest, most expensive.
Helen's been there 3 months. Not a very long period of mourning.
Who says?
A lot of people. Nasty, gossipy people.
Dull, stodgy people. Who cares about them?
Or what they say to your business associates.
What can they say?
That you became very rich very suddenly, that your wife died mysteriously, that I'm a witch, and that perhaps people should be careful about doing business with you.
No, yes. I'd almost forgotten. It's all because of that voodoo group you fool around with,
You'll have to admit that everything happened after we went through the ceremony they told me to perform.
Right. I'll admit that first sugar deal on the commodities market was luck. But after that, give me a little credit. I got smart about commodities. And now I know what I'm doing. So, when do we get married,
Why is marriage so important to you?
You wouldn't be stalling me, would you, my love?
Don't be silly, Doug. Shouldn't you wait and see when your 1-year contract is up that your luck doesn't change?
Come in, Lamore. Sit down. Your offices are most impressive, Fenton. Most impressive. You said that you wanted to see me on a matter of utmost urgency. That's right. First, I owe you an apology. For what? For my cowardice. I don't know what you're talking about. The facts about your uncle's house, which I knew and withheld from you deliberately. No. Forget it. I'm out of the house, and you have nothing to reproach yourself for. I had heard you sold the house, and I also know the price. That suggested to me that you still had your reasons for it. I just didn't want the trouble of looking around for buyers. I grabbed the first offer I got. From Miss Lemaitre. Something wrong with that? I will be brief. I didn't tell you and your wife the history of the house because I was afraid of the cochonnerie, afraid of the power of voodoo. Fenton, you're in danger. Me? Yes. How did your wife die? Some unknown virus? Some kind of fluke, the doctor said. Don't you think that's strange? An unknown disease in this day and age? Look, Lamour, you can believe what you want, but leave me out. I can't. Because of your relationship with Miss Lemaitre. I beg of you one favor. Tonight, come with me and meet Louis Gaston. It may be your only chance to save yourself. I don't feel any need for salvation. Now, if you've heard of Louis? Never. Louis Gaston is a 90-year-old Cajun who's lived all his life in the bayous. He knows more about voodoo than any other human being. What are you doing? Helping you out of my office since you won't leave when I ask you to. I'll gladly go if you'll tell me you haven't let her talk you into making some kind of silly bargain. Why did you say that? So you have. You've sold your soul. Fenton, for the love of God, come with me to the bayou tonight. Louis, this is Douglas Fenton. I hope we meet in time. No. I'm here only because Mr. Lemoore's practically kidnapped me. Mr. Lemoore's has lived in Louisiana a long time.
He knows much about voodoo and Cajuns.
All right. What do you have to tell me?
First, you tell me what you have done with the Bokor.
What the devil is a Bokor?
A very bad person. One who knows the darkest secrets of voodoo and uses them for evil ends. One who is pledged to Dambala Udeo, the great snake god.
This all sounds like something out of the Middle Ages.
No, Mr. Fenton. It is much older than that. Have you ever seen a knife like this?
Maybe. I don't know. I've seen a lot of knives.
But one like this you would remember, no? A pure gold knife with these writings.
Well, what if I have?
If you have only seen it, Mr. Fenton, that is well. But if it has drawn your blood, that is very bad.
How come you know so much about all this voodoo ritual?
I had a wife. I loved her much, yes. She loved other things more. She sold my soul, Mr. Fenton, sold my soul to Dambala Udeo. I found her just in time, and I defeated her. And her Bokor. But I paid a price. I cannot use my limbs. You see, Mr. Fenton, I must sit here until the end. But Dambala Udeo and I, we will fight, you understand?
And that's why you brought me here, Lamont, huh? Because you think I've fallen somehow under the spell of...
The Bokor Zoe Lemaitre.
We are going to be married.
When?
We haven't set the date, but she has agreed to marry me.
She will not marry you. If, as I believe, she is Bokor, she will want to destroy you and take your soul. She will never marry.
I know you're wrong. But, well, look, as long as I came here, what must I do if you're right?
She must follow the ritual for the sacrifice. She will ask you to perform some ancient marriage rite to strengthen the vows. It will be a powerful voodoo, and she will need a drug. And she will ask you to drink. If you drink, nothing can save you.
If she does ask me to go through the ceremony, is there anything I can do?
You can use this knife. I give it to you.
The gold knife.
It is easily concealed in your clothing, as you see. And you will use it.
But I thought you said that this knife could only be used by a Bokor.
Oh, on a Bokor. Where were you last night, my love? You're not the only one who's jealous, you know.
You never have to worry about me. You should know by now that I'm yours, my love, for life. Zoe, are we going to get married?
Of course.
When?
Whenever you like.
You mean that? You really mean that?
You set the date.
Today?
Oh, really, Doc. You've got to give a girl a chance to get ready.
All right. Well, how about Saturday?
Saturday sounds lovely. There's just one silly favor I'd like to ask.
Oh, anything. What?
Before the real wedding, with the minister and everything. I know it's superstitious, but you know you're so... I just wouldn't feel that we were truly married unless we went through a little native ceremony that my family has observed in every marriage.
A native ceremony?
It's nothing, really. Just the two of us before an ancient altar. I know you'll think it's nonsense, but it means so much to me. So much that I don't think I can marry you unless you go through with it.
do we have to come in? Don't ask so many questions. Just pretend we're playing some childish game. It will seem that way to you, Doug, but to me it's... well, the way we've always done things.
What's that?
The altar.
But that statue, it's...
He looks frightening, but it's just an old statue of a snake god that blesses every marriage.
Zoe, please. You know I don't believe all this.
Oh.
Maybe you're used to the darkness and the candles and the drums, but...
Here. Drink this and you'll feel better.
What's that?
A little ceremonial wine, darling. It was left on the altar for us. Drink it.
Do you really want me to drink from that goblet?
Yes.
You insist?
Darling, it's the only way. You will drink from me.
If you come into my arms and hold the goblet to my lips.
Now who's acting childish?
It's the only way.
All right. Here. Drink. Doug, you're holding me too tight. Doug, the knife. No. Doug, help me.
I drank my love. And now we'll be together always. Just the way you wanted it. A friend of mine told me the story of an investigative reporter who penetrated some real voodoo ceremonies and photographed the strictly forbidden rites. The pictures somehow were ruined in development, and the journalist developed an unfortunate tic. His right hand, the hand that operates a camera, now moved ceaselessly in the air, completely out of control. The doctors diagnose it as a nervous disorder. But of course, they don't practice voodoo. I'll be back in a moment. Hi, dear. I'm home.
Will the defendant please rise?
Now, wait a minute. I'm sorry I'm a little late, but
How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
I worked late, and the traffic was heavy, and I stopped for a drink at Rocky's.
The accused is charged with breach of promise and willful negligence.
Okay, so it's 7:15, but you had to make a big federal case out of it.
The defendant is found guilty as charged.
Close the court at your house. Cancel the trials. Stop appointing each other as both judge and jury. Hear where the other is and work through the hassles together. And forgive a little, as God forgives a lot. A nudge toward respecting others from the Mennonite churches.
It's amazing how many of us invest inanimate objects with supernatural powers. On the other hand, perhaps our superstitions are only faint memory traces, throwbacks to our ancestors who prayed to rocks and trees and mountains. Today, we've progressed beyond those beliefs. We're sure that inanimate objects are powerless. On the other hand, we're told that nothing is sure except death and taxes. And, of course, the fact I'll be here tomorrow. Our cast included Joan Loring, Jordan Charney, Renee Roy, Dan Ockel, and Gilbert Mack. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. And now, a preview of our next tale.
After last night and today, I'm taking no chances. Maybe with your superior intelligence, you have no worries about our abortive attempt at Satanism. But I have. Look, I was the victim, and since
a crack on the head denied me any knowledge of what happened. I'm only hoping you can give me the straight goods.
The straight goods. A peculiarly inept term for what we are engaged in, my brother in Satan.
Damn it, it's not a deal in semantics, Anton. Now, what happened after I summoned up the fiend? I mean, how did you escape, and how could I have been harmed? As long as I was safe in the magic triangle within the circle.
I warned you to keep your feet still. If you touch any part of the circle itself or the triangle within it, you are at the mercy of all the devils in hell.
Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and Buick Motor Division. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.